80% of them are in on Cory Perry, including the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I would, whatever team, I would not hesitate in the slightest to get him. He's got a unique value he brings to a team that is especially important in the playoffs. Like he's transformed himself from a Hart Trophy player to assuming a very different role, which includes the physicality and the grit and all the other stuff that's more important in the playoffs.
Ilya Samsonov preparing to lead the Maple Leafs out
there
onto
he
the
is.
ice. We see him up on the Jumbotron as we speak, so that means we're moving closer, inching closer to puck drop. Ailish mentioned, Gord, that a luxury item perhaps would be Cory Perry. Let's go non-luxury items. What do you think the Maple Leafs need? And did that come into clearer focus last night when they were coughing up that lead to the Colorado Avalanche?
So, I really did think last year Kyle Dubas checked all the boxes. And, we see a year later, okay, it got you one round, but you left kind of dismally in the second round and you lost more draft picks. And, where does it all get you at the end of it? So, quite often a lot of these things are cosmetic rather than what are you actually addressing. So, first of all, last night, you can bring whomever you want. But if there's not a commitment to show up against the Colorado Avalanche, to do what's necessary to protect the 3-0 lead, the intensity, the two-way style, the it factor, it doesn't matter who you get, you're screwed, okay? If that, and that's part and parcel. Like that's the part as a team that they've got to learn and grow and move forward from. But it's obvious about a defenseman, or maybe two. Labushkin a couple of years ago. That's almost the kind of guy you're going to get. Last year, you got fortunate in a guy like McCabe that had term on his contract. I don't know who else is out there that they can figure out working. Again, because so many draft picks were traded by Kyle Dubas in pursuit of the cup, it limits what Brad Treliving can do to some kind of degree. But that's where I kind of look at it. I don't think you need the Ryan O'Reilly part, like the third and fourth line, and whether it's a Cory Perry being included. And we have seen glimpses of this about. Let's have more of an identity to a third line in particular because they become more important in the playoffs. Now, I don't know if there's another player out there that you think can be that particular one, but, that's what your pro scouts do. But if there's someone of value that way that could, come in, that would be great. Like the Barbashev trade last year Vegas did was perfect. Every team would love to be able to add a top 9 forward or maybe arguably top 6 forward like that and be able to fit them in. And I don't know who's around that way, but obviously, yeah, if you're the Leafs or anybody, if you can get someone that's pushing the top 6, you will. But I think right now it's on the D you got to look at. And then if there is another, fit somewhere in that you like better in the third line in particular, then maybe you look at it.
Well, we're seeing a couple different bodies out on the ice for warm-ups. Maybe some injuries, maybe some showcasing. We do see Nick Robertson, so we will see what happens later. Gordo, we appreciate you joining us today. Thanks for helping us fill some time before Leafs puck drop a little later this evening. Always great to catch up and enjoy tonight's game.
Well, we'll do, and you guys doing a great job. It kind of turned into a telethon, but you're turning into great. So anyway, I'll keep listening and I'll get set for puck drop. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gord.
Gord Stellick. That's funny. It's like those telethons. We're like, all right, caller, we're getting Luke Fox in 20 minutes. We're just rolling them in and out. As we mentioned, if you're just joining us, Maple Leafs set to take on the Detroit Red Wings. Puck drop has been moved to 7:52. The Detroit Red Wings did not enter Scotiabank Arena until after 6 p.m., so their timeline has been pushed a little bit just because of travel issues. If you know, it's a bit of a weather issues all over the southern Ontario into, I guess, the surrounding couple areas with some storms. So Detroit is here. They are on the ice. Ilya Samsonov's in the net, and you're seeing some different bodies out there, Justin.
We knew that Connor Timmins was going to come in for Mark Giordano, and that's, I guess, been confirmed here by what we're seeing on the ice. We're also seeing, though, William Lagesson take warm-ups and Nick Robertson taking warm-ups. No Bobby McMahon. So it seems like Robertson will be in for McMahon. Not sure how that affects the third line or fourth line or middle six, I suppose, is possible. But yeah, interesting to see what Lagesson is doing out there because I'm counting Benoit, Liljegren, Riley, Brody.
Too many people.
Yeah.
Too many men.
And Timmins, of course. So I think we'll get confirmation based on the lines in the rushes here in a second, but at least two changes we know of, which is Timmins coming in for Gio and McMahon out and likely Robertson in.
You know what? Today's just a fun, funky day. So why don't you just put Robertson on the top line?
I will amend that very quickly. Maybe they go 7D.
They could do that.
And Robertson wouldn't play, but we'll see what happens.
You're calling the shots. We do know Ilya Samsonov is taking the net. I want to talk a little bit about Matthews and Patrick Kane, because that is a head-to-head that is a fun one. Obviously, fellow American duo. Matthews grew up watching Patrick Kane, and in their first 8 seasons, we got great stats here to compare the two of them, because we're already starting to have conversations about if Austin Matthews is the best goal scorer ever, right? Is he going to be there? Is he close? Is he on pace? And we know the numbers versus Ovechkin. We know that he's already kind of passing where Ovechkin was at this level in his career. Of course, Ovi is on his way to trying to beat Gretzky's record. But if you look at Matthews and Kane, in 520 games for Matthews and 576 for Kane, Matthews has 332 goals. Kane has 205. Matthews has 590 points. Kane has 557. Now, Matthews already has 2 Rockets and a Hart. Kane has no Rockets, has an Art Ross, and has a Hart. But Patrick Kane has 3 cups. They both won the Calder Trophy in their rookie season. So there's a lot of similarities between these two.
And I think it's a big show of faith to your guy Pontus Holberg. I mean, this is a big upgrade for Pontus Holberg, who wasn't playing on this team, a couple weeks ago, and now all of a sudden he's playing with the 2 number 1 All-Stars, we'll put it that way, for the Maple Leafs this year, and Austin Matthews and William Nylander. Big spot for Max Domi playing between Mitch Marner and Tyler Bertuzzi. A spot for Robertson, too, beside Tavares and Yarncroke. So maybe a little demotion for Matthew Nyes. Maybe he's hitting a little bit of that rookie wall. But interesting to say the least. This is definitely going to have the attention of the Maple Leafs to a man, seeing such changes on the lineup sheet.
Our D pairings tonight will be Riley and Brody, McCabe and Liljegren and Benoit and Timmins. That's just for the line rushes, so maybe Leguson's the last man out there in terms of the D pairings. I'm not sure if that means he can't skate and be the 7th D. This is just what we're seeing when we're watching warm-ups right now. As we mentioned, the game has been postponed a little bit, so we're a little behind on getting the official word, but that's
Robertson
the way they're
could be a placeholder still. I mean, I guess that's still possible, placeholder, and you're moving those left wingers through. We shall see, though. We'll get an official lineup before we finally send to this hockey game.
It's been fun, it's just kind of like you're winging it. Everyone's winging it. Sheldon Keefe is just, let's mess it up and have some fun on a Sunday night. We've got about a minute here until we have to take a break. Luke Fox is going to join us on the other side. One thing that we didn't talk about is how, this is going to be really tough for the Red Wings. They had this long travel day. Well, the Maple Leafs have been sitting around. They probably got here at the regular time that they would, maybe 3 or 4, whatever time they show up at the rink. And now their whole schedule has been pushed an extra 45, 50, 60 minutes. And, it's not like they can go back and arrive at the rink at a different time. So they've kind of been sitting around too. Maybe they're watching some of the football game. Like, you can lose focus in the waiting game of waiting to do your routine. You could play sewer ball for an extra 45 minutes and sewer yourself. So I think both teams are playing with a little bit of a randomness to this. It'll just be like, can you find advantage in rest, or can you find advantage in your team across the ice having a little bit of a different schedule? So lots of stuff to figure out before tonight's puck drop. But we'll take a quick break because Luke Fox will join us in the booth on the other side. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The end of an era in New England.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
That will be someone other than Bill Belichick along the sidelines.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is the single greatest run in the history of professional sports. It will never be duplicated.
And expert analysis on NFL radio.
24 years of sustained success. It was just magical.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the SiriusXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Yeah, it's a big decision for lots of reasons, both on Samsonov and Hildeby, but once the decision is made that they didn't want him to play any AHL games, I think we need to get him back in the game here and see where he's at. So we need to do a good job in front of him, and he's done the work to be ready for today.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert putting in our 7th hour of the pregame show as the Maple Leafs will host the Detroit Red Wings. We believe in the next 20-something minutes. Puck drop was originally scheduled for 7 o'clock, but the Red Wings had some travel issues. They arrived no later than 6:15, 6:05 to the arena. We saw them coming in, so things have been pushed back, but they have finished warm-ups, and we will be getting you ready for a puck drop. And Luke Fox is sitting in here with us, nicely helping us stretch. Luke, how's it going?
It's going okay. They probably should have got some Buffalo Bills fans, pay them $20 to drive to the rink on time.
They could have shoveled the roads for them.
Yeah, don't do anything.
As we're learning, Brad Treliving beat traffic last night by coming when the game was played yesterday. What a night for goaltending narratives.
Wow.
Luke.
Oh, my goodness.
James Reimer on one side for the Detroit Red Wings, but more importantly, Ilya Samsonov on the other for the Toronto Maple Leafs. What do you make of the decision to start Samsonov tonight, and what's at stake for Ilya more specifically?
Well, a lot. Imagine if he lets in a couple stinkers early.
Oh, I can't.
On home ice. It could go bad. But there's also an opportunity for some redemption here. No one really believes in this guy at this point, right? And last time he took the net in any game, because he didn't play for the Marlies at all, it was an absolute disaster in Columbus. So, if he can get a win, I don't even think he has to be great, but if he can be solid and they can get a win and rebound from last night's performance against the Colorado Avalanche, I think that would be huge for his confidence and for, just holding the fort, because they used Martin Jones 7 straight times, and it was getting ridiculous. And now they're heading out west. They get the Oilers, Connor McDavid, 10-game win streak for Edmonton, dangerous offensive team. Calgary always plays them hard. Vancouver, come on.
Even the Kraken don't lose anymore.
And they don't. You're right. So they need 2 goalies. So it's a big night for Samsonov.
Samsonov hasn't played a hockey game since December 29th. Was Dennis Hildeby ever a question? Did we get too excited? Did we get too hyped up about this tall guy from the Marlies who was having an electric season? Was the plan for him to never play an NHL game? Why were we so excited about this? If this wasn't going to happen, it doesn't seem like it ever will.
Well, the reason why we're excited is because people like the new toys, right?
Yeah,
it's the old prospect excitement. People want to see what someone else can do, and then you add the fact that the man is a giant, and you're just there's a curiosity factor, and he's having a fabulous season down in the farm. Organizationally, the plan was to never bring him up. No matter how good he was never supposed to play a game in the NHL, and I think there was some tussling behind the scenes. It was, I think there was a push to get him in because the faith in Samsonov was lost, but there was a push back from Hildeby's camp where they wanted this to be a pure developmental year. This is his first year on North American ice. They want to be slow and steady. They don't want to rush, give him too much too soon. I think it was a hard choice. This wasn't Sheldon Keefe and Curtis Sanford's choice alone. I'm sure Brad Treliving, I'm sure Hildeby's agency, I'm sure there were a lot of voices that played a factor in why we're seeing the goaltender we're seeing tonight.
So there's a bright spotlight on the crease tonight, of course, for the Maple Leafs, but there's a lot of reason to be distracted, by this lineup. Pontus Holberg playing with Austin Matthews and William Nylander, Bertuzzi, Domi, and Marner. So an interesting spot here for Domi, maybe a little bit of a credit to last night's performance for Max. And then Robertson right now slated for Tavares and Yarncroke. Not sure if it's going to be 7D, but that is upheaval to say the least in this Maple Leafs lineup. What do you make of Keefe's decisions in order to play in front of Samsonov tonight?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with how ticked off he was last night by their performance. It was their first real measuring stick game or game against a true Stanley Cup contender in weeks. They got served a lot of easy games in getting the Sharks twice and the Ducks, and they were kind of on cruise control. And then the first real test comes, and all the big boys kind of shrink away a little bit. So I think, it's a promotion for Domi for sure, because Keith kind of signaled Domi's line out as the one line that showed up last night against the Avalanche. And the one game that Domi and Marner were paired together, former London Knights teammates, they were fabulous. That one game that Austin couldn't go. So I think maybe it's trying to recreate some of that magic, a little bit of a reward for Domi perhaps, but it's also a little bit of a punishment, I'd say, for Matthews and Marner, who prefer playing together. Definitely a punishment for Tavares. I think he only got 3 shifts in the third period last night. Sheldon Keefe said basically his line didn't have one good shift all night, really kind of called him out as much as Sheldon Keefe does in those situations. So, to put him with 2 guys that are a little less trusted is a little check, I guess, for the captain, a little reset. But I like it. I mean, you have to do something. You have to hold guys accountable, and we'll see how it plays out. We all know this coach's tendencies, depending on how the game goes. If they fall behind, he could switch things up pretty quickly.
Yeah, but as harsh criticism as Tavares, I think, is received in his time in Toronto, and now there's actually some movement and some reaction and some punishment to back Keefe's words.
We're chatting with Luke Fox ahead of Maple Leafs and Detroit Red Wings. Puck drop will be at 7:52, so we're almost there, folks. You're almost done with Justin and I. Tonight on the other side of the ice, we're going to see Patrick Kane, who seems like he's found a really good fit with Detroit. He's come in and definitely been one of the biggest offensive threats for their team, at least. Does it make you think that maybe the Leafs should have been in on him a bit, the way that he started his last couple games with the Red Wings?
Yeah, I mean, there was some whispers of that, and just I think Brad Treliving's not doing his job. He's not checking out every option, and that goes back to the trade deadline of last year with Kyle Dubas. I think there was some level of interest. I mean, when a Hall of Fame player, arguably the greatest American player to ever play until maybe Austin finishes his career, is available, you have to at least explore it. I don't think that's what they need. I mean, Patrick Kane's a deadly power play threat. Where would he fit on this top power play unit? I think what the Leafs need, their limited cap space. I think absolutely they need to target the blue line, and depending how the next week or so goes, maybe a goalie. So it's a nice piece that was out there in terms of the star power and the skill, and he's obviously found his groove with Detroit with the Brinket, but I just don't think he was the right fit for their needs.
Yeah, but I think the power play is definitely a major consideration there. I think it might be with the other player that everyone's talking about right now, or the most recent free agent, which is Cory Perry. Do you see a spot for Cory Perry when you look at this roster, when you look at what their needs are? And do you think that it would be okay for Cory Perry to enter this room, given that there's a history with Tavares, there's a history with Ryan Reeves? Do you factor that in at all, or is it more about the player, the fit, and what this might cost, I suppose?
Well, I think the cost is actually favorable in that he doesn't cost you a single asset. He's a free agent. And he's shown in the past that he's willing to take less than $1 million. So if he's willing to do that, I think you have to at least entertain the idea. I would have a talk with John Tavares first and see how he feels that he would fit in the room. It's a really fascinating acquisition to ponder, just because he's been the villain, whether he's with Montreal, whether he's with Tampa, and these, Cory Perry and the Leafs have flirted with each other in the past, in past free agencies. Definitely there was the one summer where Dubas went for Wayne Simmons for that role over Cory Perry, and Perry very much wanted to be a Leaf, Ontario-born guy. So he makes your playoff team better, I would say. And I think you have to at least explore it. But I would talk to the leadership core before bringing him in, because he is a big presence, even if he's on the fourth line.
And over the course of many years playing against big spots against the Leafs, he's probably said a lot of things to the bench.
You can't go back and
for Toronto.
forget all that.
Only they will know just like how far Cory Perry went.
Yeah.
But again, I think they probably could get over that if they wanted to, or if the captain was willing.
Last one for you, Luke. We'll let you get all set for puck drop. 4 Maple Leafs will be at the All-Star game. Matthews, Marner, and first-timers Willie and Morgan. Morgan Riley, of course, last night was really sweet after he got announced. He got a goal. But it seems like the right form. I'm really happy to see Morgan Riley. Willie Nylander's obviously been the talk of this season. How excited are you to see those guys get their first chance?
Yeah, I am. There's been a lot of talk about the format and just how every single team has to be represented, so you end up losing out on some star power. You're playing behind Matthews and Marner. It's like these guys might never get their chance. Nylander made it undeniable just by his play this season, but I'm particularly happy for Riley just because he's the longest tenured Leaf. There's been other years where he probably should be included. And if you look at the whole list, there's a lack of blue liners. Like, you need some defensemen.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we got to have every
has been postponed a few times, but 7:52, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be having puck drop. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of it and prepping us for this game. Lots of star power on the ice. We talked about that yesterday. But there's two guys going head-to-head that love to play against each other. Let's talk a little more Patrick Kane. And he's our player to watch, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Patrick Kane, a Detroit Red Wing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were expecting when they brought Patrick Kane in. I'm sure it was to get a little bit more out of Alex DeBrincat, to get another top six winger into the mix, to try and score more goals. I'm not sure that they thought Patrick Kane would be leading the team in scoring in his 18 games, but that is the case right now. 7 goals and 9 assists in 18 games for Patrick Kane. And to score tonight, plus 190 on Bet365. He's got 17 goals in 23 career games against the Maple Leafs. That's highest for players. The 0.74 per game is the highest for players with 20 games or more. So he likes to feast against the Maple Leafs, and he's been feasting since he became a wing.
Yeah, and the connection with him and Austin Matthews, whether Patrick Kane thinks about Austin Matthews or not, Austin Matthews certainly sized himself up to Patrick Kane. As Luke put it, the greatest American goal scorer, maybe passing the torch to the next greatest American goal scorer. So I would expect Austin Matthews to want to elevate his game as well. When these two have gone head-to-head, which has been 12 career times, Matthews has 18 points and Kane has 13 points. So, they'll probably try to go toe-for-toe tonight. Toe-for-toe will be Ilya Samsonov and James Reimer. A blast from the past, folks. He played 6 seasons for the Maple Leafs. I believe it was 6 full seasons for the Maple Leafs and change there. But I mean, that's the focus tonight. It's hard to talk about much else. I know Sheldon Keefe tried to make us talk about other things by doing the lineups as opposite and upside down and all around that he could have, but it is going to be Ilya Samsonov maybe playing for his Maple Leafs career tonight.
And playing for 2 points in a 4-point game for the Maple Leafs. The Red Wings are only 3 points back. Maple Leafs do have 2 games in hand, but this is a playoff race. I mean, we are at the halfway point, and there are important points on the table, and Ilya Samsonov might be getting his last chance to try to secure some of those points. I will say, since we were talking betting in the Bet365, Leafs are minus 200 favorites tonight.
I don't know,
minus
man.
.300 with Ilya Samsonov, who has not given the Maple Leafs a chance to win in his last handful of starts. Part of that is probably the tough day of travel, the planes, trains, and automobiles for the Detroit Red Wings today. But that is an interesting line, given what Samsonov has been, where his game's been at, and what his last 2 weeks have looked like.
I don't know how I feel trying to pretend I'm Ilya Samsonov right now, because he's got to come out and touch the puck early. I think he's going to want to feel confident. I don't want him to get out of character and start trying to play the puck behind the net, trying to get out of who he is. But I don't know if he knows who he is right now, right? He hasn't played a hockey game, not even an NHL game, not an AHL game, since December 29th. He's been sent down to the Marlies. He cleared waivers. Nobody wanted him. Then he sat around for a week and he had a mental and physical reset. That sounds great. I would love one of those. And then he came back and practiced for maybe 1 or 2 days. We don't even really know what he was focusing on. And now he's thrust back into a game, as you mentioned, with 4 points basically on the line against a team that's right behind you, against a team who just played last night, but so did you. Both teams are dealing with weird schedules today. It could be a really big slop fest. You should tell me what the over is. It might be like 7.5.
It's 7.
So tonight is just screams messy. And I don't know how Ilya Samsonov feels about that. I just think he needs to make the first save of the game. He needs to get through that first period with a 0 on the board and build to confidence. He needs to skate back into the locker room during the first intermission with a lead or a tie and a level of confidence, because, man, it could get real messy out here. And I really hope it doesn't, because I want to see this guy do something with his career. But it feels like it's all riding on tonight.
It does feel like it's all riding on tonight for Ilya Samsonov. But hey, maybe Sheldon Keefe stumbled upon optimization with this new look lineup. Let's go through it one more time. On the top line, Pontus Holberg, Austin Matthews, William Nylander. Second line, Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi, Mitch Marner. Third, Robertson, Tavares, and Yarncroke. And the fourth line will consist of Matthew Nyes, David Camp, and Noah Gregor. Tonight, Bobby McMahon not in the lineup for the Maple Leafs. He did leave yesterday's game momentarily with, I guess, a suspected injury. On the blue line, Riley and Brody. That's the only thing that's still the same. McCabe and Liljegren, Benoit, and Connor Timmins. Connor Timmins coming in for Mark Giordano. And, of course, Ilya Samsonov is in net with Martin Jones backing up. James Reimer, as you mentioned, will be on the opposite side tonight. The former Leaf in a big spot against the Maple Leafs tonight. Goaltending narratives, we have a few.
Honestly, good for Pontus Holberg. I think that's the thing I'm most excited to watch. Make him my player to watch. I want to watch Pontus Holberg, because I read the quotes yesterday before the game, and we kind of laughed because it was like the hype fest of all hype fests. Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner talking about how he's their favorite NHL player. The way he works, the skill he has, the grit, the hustle. And when you read it, you're like, are they talking about Connor McDavid? Are they talking about Nathan McKinnon? No, they're talking about Pontus Holberg. But good for the kid, because after the first period yesterday, the Leafs skated off the ice with a 3-0 lead, and he was maybe the reason why. He led that team in the first period from the third or fourth line. He wasn't a major, third liner. And he gets the opportunity today, and I think it kind of is a bit of a wake-up call for some other guys that aren't getting that opportunity. Nick Robertson. But I think I'm really excited to see how he starts. This might be a big spot for him. I'm sure he's feeling a little bit nervous being on the top line with Matthews and Nylander, but he's been quietly earning it.
Yeah, the former center didn't really belong because David Camp was doing the center thing in the depths of the Maple Leafs lineup. Now trying out as a winger, and now getting a spot to play on the top line in Toronto as a winger. Plus 450.
Oh, yeah.
Holberg, anytime goal scorer. As we continue to talk about our Bet365 players to watch, Pontus Holberg will be right up there.
Everybody's a player to watch tonight, Justin, all right? And they're finally on the ice. Holy moly. These fans have been waiting quite a while to see the guys get out there for puck drop. We've been waiting.
Joe and Jim have been waiting for a while,
Poor
too.
Joe and Jim just standing there waiting for us to get out of their seats. I guess they got to watch the entire Green Bay game. Joe's going to be fired up when he gets on the mic, his Packers, with the big win. All right, so I guess we can really say goodbye this time. We can really send it to Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph, who will finally have the call of the first period. Thanks for holding in there with us, everybody. Leafs hosting the Detroit Red Wings. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall, From house parties, the porch hangs, to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian, Ultra, XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now, starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian, Ultra, XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey.
We're about to bring the war right now. Sound the alarm.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
The Leafs and the Detroit Red Wings. And I want to thank the Red Wings for being a little tardy in their arrival so that we were able to watch the remainder of the football game today. But the Guardians of the Galvanized Gates tonight are brought to you by Superior Door and Gate System, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards, because security can only be measured by what it will save you. The Red Wings had some issues with their aircraft last night and then getting in late today. Now, admittedly, I wouldn't imagine that an awful lot of people are going to tuning into the Red Wing game in Detroit, because the Detroit Lions, for the first time in I don't know how long, are playing a playoff game in the National Football League. So it will be a tough sell down there tonight. But here it is, the Leafs trying to overcome what has been now a losing streak and a lot of changes for Sheldon Keefe.
Yeah, it was almost like they told the trainers, just write down what you want for
for the lines, and it's going to be Austin Matthews starting with Pontus Holberg and Willie Nylander.
And it is shot down into the Toronto zone, and around the boards it comes to McCabe. Pushed back in the net for Liljegren. On the wing for Nylander. His pass was off the stick of Matthews and ends up going for an icing. So the second line has Nick Robertson into the lineup with John Tavares and Kalle Järnkrok. Then Max Domi with Tyler Bertuzzi and Mitch Marner. And finally David Kampf with Matthew Nyes, who drops from the first line to the fourth, and Noah Gregor. And I suppose this is a way of sending a note, a little message.
You find it worrisome to do it in January?
No, I don't think so. Pass on the left wing. Matthews gets across the line. Now, how long this will last, we'll wait and see as it comes back to the point. Kept in now by McCabe. Tried to send it to the net. It was blocked. Wrapped around back of the goal. And the Red Wings' Jeff Petrie is there to get it up on the wing. Brought to center ice now by Comfer, and in on the right side, a long shot, and Ilya Samsonov in goal makes the save. And I don't know if that's derogatory cheering or let's get behind our guy and see what we can do. Now here's Bertuzzi spinning it back into the corner for Domi. Domi drops it off for Marner. Marner around back of the net. Morgan Riley was there but couldn't come up with the puck. Bertuzzi gets it now to Domi. A pass to the far side. Riley chipping it to the side of the goal. Bertuzzi left it there for Domi. Domi bunting it back of the net, and around the boards it's going to come to the near side. Marner mishandles the puck, and the Red Wings get it out. And a break on the right wing side. Larkin in! And he went right past the net as it's down into the corner. Bertuzzi frees it up. Domi gets to center, just gingerly played it in, but wow, got a break on the ice and got non-call there.
Got some time to make up.
Yes, played down. Well, you know the referees work on an hourly basis, so yeah, I can understand that. Now Nylander playing it down into the zone. Järnkrok goes into the forecheck. It comes up on the right side. Rasmussen getting it out at center. A good hit there by Connor Timmins, who's into the lineup. He replaces Mark Giordano, who is scratched this evening. Puck out at center ice. Järnkrok dropping it back. Benoit got it ahead. Robertson tips it down into the Detroit zone. No score. We're approaching 2.5 minutes played here in the first period, and glad you're along with us. Ole Mata got it ahead and knocked down into the Leaf end. Liljegren reverses the puck, but no one there, and then the pass intercepted by David Kampf. Kampf gets out at center and plays to an open wing. Leafs trying to get there in time, and they do. And it is Gregor bunting it down into the offensive end. Now around back of the net for Noah Gregor. Gregor double teamed there and knocked off stride. Puck comes to the blue line, but not out. Nyes in the far corner. Nice move to get out, but now trying to find an opening. Played it off his stick down into the corner, and the Red Wings have it under control back of their goal. And they'll ring the boards with it and get it down to the Leaf blue line. Both teams changing. Matthews and across the line, had it knocked away. Red Wings gather it up. Here's our first look at Patrick Kane in a Red Wing uniform. He got belted there by Pontus Holberg, and it is Morgan Riley now trying to move it out at center, and he does. Brought by Nylander to the line and in. Nylander a pass in for Matthews, rolled it through the goal crease, and Holberg was just a split second too late to get there to tap it home. Nylander off the boards, swept in by Holberg, but it goes off his stick and up into the crowd and out of play, and a face-off coming in the center ice area. A good tempo to start this first period.
Especially consider teams played back-to-back, and the Red Wings obviously having to travel today and getting in late. But both teams seem to have a certain amount of jump. Red Wings were the only shot, and like you said, it was hard to decipher from the crowd whether that was Ilya, we're behind you, nice save, or you surprised us. Nice save.
Well,
but we shall see. I mean, I think because of that, the first goal of this game, Joe, is probably of more importance Well, we got a penalty coming up in this play. It's going to be a hooking call against the Red Wings. And the Leafs will go to the first power play. Leafs only had the one power play last night.
Yeah, Raymond getting the penalty.
There were some bizarre goals last night. None stranger than TJ Brody not playing the puck when Nathan McKinnon sent it to him to try to get a 5-on-3 for longer. So instead, Colorado just banged one in, and that started the comeback.
3:52, the time of the penalty. Leafs on the power play. Riley works into the left wing corner, centering pass. Marner, right wing side and drive. That was stopped. And Tavares was unable to finish with the rebound. Nylander in the slot. Into the corner for Riley off his stick. Puck comes back to Riley, but it bounced over his stick. And the Red Wings push it out at center. And down into the Leaf zone and out of the net. Goaltender Samsonov to steer it around to the near boards. Riley up ahead for Tavares. Drop back for Matthews. Matthews to Marner. Marner in on the right wing for Nylander. He stops it up. Back to the point it comes to Riley. Left wing side. Tavares a shot. Big rebound in front. And it bounced over the stick of Marner. And now another push down into the Leaf zone. Getting back there is Tavares. And a shot from a sharp angle is swallowed up by Samsonov. And he's able to hold on.
1:04 to go here in this power play for the Leafs. Again, no coverage twice in this power play. Absolutely no coverage for when the puck is turned over to go back the other way. And the Leafs dodge a couple of bullets here. This time Dylan Larkin walks in off the wrong wing. What saved them, Joe, is John Tavares. The route he took from the Red Wings zone to get back was straight towards his net. So when Larkin was swinging off the right wing boards, Tavares was able to cut him off to an extent, and that's why Larkin had to try to go short side.
Face off in the circle to the left of Samsonov, and a shot right from the face-off taken there by Comper was stopped by Samsonov, and the Leafs have to go back for it now in their own zone. Timmins dropping the puck back, and it's brought out at center ice. Left wing side for Domi, across the line Bertuzzi. Back along for Domi and into the corner. Domi trying to free it up. Bertuzzi is in there as well. The puck comes free and around the boards. Yarncrook back in, has it knocked away, and the Red Wings get it to the line and out and down the ice.
The Red Wings in the penalty kill. They were 0 for 3 last night against the Kings, so all 3 Los Angeles goals came with the extra man.
And before that, they've been playing very well on the penalty kill.
Yeah, 22 for 22 prior to last night, the previous 10.
And the penalty is a dozen seconds left in it. Here's Domi working in the corner, trying to get it in front. He did. It comes to Bertuzzi. Oh, and a good save made there as it was knocked away at the last second. James Reimer in goal for the a centering pass that was knocked away and is back out into the center ice area. Ilya Samsonov 5-2-6, 3.94 goals against average, but it's the .862 save percentage that has been the big issue. And the Camp circles the Leaf goal. Played it on the boards to the line and out. It's a delayed offside. Red Wings had to tag up. That allows the Leafs to center. Noah Gregor in on the wing, but it's going to be offside. He had to make an extra move at the blue line and puts the play offside. So a break in the action with the Leafs nothing and the Red Wings nothing. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Radio Andy.
Hey, this is Andy Cohen, host of Andy Cohen Live on Radio Andy, here to tell you about the brand new SiriusXM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places you can hear me, keep up with all the latest episodes, and more. Just search Andy Cohen in the app to find me, then keep exploring to add all your SiriusXM favorites and new discoveries to your library.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Patrick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
Face-off coming outside the Detroit blue line. The Red Wings come into the game with a record of 21-16-5, 47 points. The Leafs are 21-11-8 for 50 points. This officially starts the second half of the NHL season for the Maple Leafs.
The Red Wings, by the way, 4-0-1 in their last 5 games, which is their first streak since signing Patrick Kane.
Camp over the line. Sorry, did you have?
Oh,
are you finished?
Just thinking Patrick Sharp that I had the wrong Patrick, but
Patrick.
no, it's Kane.
All right. Played up on the wing. Brody pinches. Puck maintained, but then slashed to center ice. And the Leafs will play it back up on the wing, and now Nyes across the line. Camp couldn't return the pass, trying to find Noah Gregor driving the net, and the Red Wings are back in their own zone. Justin Hall playing it up on the wing, and it's out into the center ice area and down into the Leaf end. Going back after it there was Brody, and he'll reverse it, and out comes Morgan Riley. Ahead on the wing for Tavares. Tavares slides it down into the corner. Going back there after it was Mata. He got it up on the wing. Tavares hit there by Hall. A centering pass didn't reach its intended receiver in front of the net with the Art Crook, and the Red Wings have it back into the Leaf zone. A pass blocked there by Nick Robertson. Robertson with room down the right wing gets in over the line. Stops up. Now plays it around back of the net. Tavares trying to free it up was taken down on the play. Nylander unable to come away with it. And Ole Mata now for Detroit has it stripped away. Now here's Nylander around back of the net. Stops up again. Looks for a man in front. Tried to find a pass, but it was intercepted by Lucas Raymond, who backhands it out at center ice. Mata. And a pass ahead now. Holberg trying to drive, but was knocked off stride. And the reason he was knocked off stride was that he was held. And Kelly Sutherland makes the call. Francis Charon is the other referee. Matt McPherson and Tommy Hughes are the linesmen.
2 minutes for holding.
And Andrew's telling us Patrick Kane's gone to the dressing room. I think it was on a hit by Pontus Holberg on the far side. But before the Leafs get to the second power play, Joe, when Patrick Kane signs with Detroit, the first 13 games, the Wings went 3-9-1. So the last 5, being 4-0-1 in the last 5, is important. The Leafs didn't get many breaks last night. Is it not the same officials as last night, Joe? Referees? Kelly Sutherland, I think, who had
Sutherland
last night.
is here. Kendrick Nicholson was the other. Point shot blockered away nicely by James Reimer. And it's played out into the center ice area. Leafs back in their own zone to organize. Reimer, the former Leaf, has not had a lot of success against his former mates. The puck down in the Detroit zone is going to be played off the boards and down the ice.
He's had trouble finishing a number of games when you look at his record as opposed to his appearances.
Brought out now by Matthews. On to Marner. Marner hits the line. Had it knocked out of the air, but he's able to recover. Now to Riley, off on the wing for Nylander. Banks it in deep and around back of the net. Matthews can't get to it. The Red Wings do, and they'll shoot it out and down the ice. Larkin doing that, heading to the bench. Minute 5 to go in the power play. Still no score in the game. Riley drops for Matthews. Matthews crisscrosses with Marner. In on the right side for Nylander. Chipped in a little bit further. Round on the boards, it comes to Tavares. Played back to the point now, and Riley will trap. Far side, Willie. Nylander closes with a shot, rang it off the goal post. Rebound back to the blue line, pushed out at center, and way out of the goal comes Samsonov. And he just did get it up on the wing there to Riley. Now here's Matthews, and across the line. High stick making contact. That will have the play whistle dead. And it'll be brought back into the Detroit zone a little deeper. Well, if you don't want to have any shots on goal, you come out and play the puck like a defenseman.
What about at the other end? Shots on goal, just 4-3 favored the Leafs, and their second power play in the half a period is about to expire. The best chance that the Leafs have had is Willie Nylander off the crossbar. And Sheldon Keefe has been pretty critical of his top players in the last 2 games. And you wonder how short the leash is here. It'll be interesting to see who gets the start for the next power play if the Leafs gets one.
Face off to the left of Reimer in the Detroit end. Domi wins the face-off. It comes to the near side, and fanning on the shot was Yarncrook. Went off the heel of his stick and harmlessly wide. Back to the point and over on the near side now for Domi. Domi works down to the half boards. Got a shot in front of the net. Spinning there was Yarncrook to try and get a piece of the puck, but it's the Red Wings who do. They send it out and down the ice with 4 seconds left in the penalty. Leafs 0 for 2 with the man advantage. 9:44 to go in a scoreless first period. Domi to center. Works in off the boards to play it to himself. It comes back to the blue line. Kept in by Liljegren. Back of the net, Domi. Centered in front of the net. Shot taken by Yarncrook on off a leg and went wide. Liljegren trying to keep the puck in, but it is squeezed to center ice. And the Leafs have to regroup, and now Bertuzzi comes across the line. Benoit went to the front of the net. Bertuzzi trying to play it around back of the net. Benoit thinks better of chasing and goes back to a defensive posture. Now Bertuzzi steals. Back of the net. It goes. A centering pass is knocked away by Reimer. Bertuzzi hounding after. Wow. Brogan Rafferty, and Bertuzzi's going to get a penalty here.
Well, that's a two-hander. But a senseless penalty. I mean, you take that 200 feet away from your own net.
Well, it was also off the stick, I think. But anyway, yep. The Red Wings have had the first 2, so here we go. Wings into the zone. Trying to play it back to the net was Rasmussen. They get it back to the point once more. Down into the corner. Camp chases as it comes around on the near side. Trying to get it back to Gostisbehere, but it is intercepted there by Matthew Nyes, and so a penalty coming here to Toronto. And I believe it's going to be Bertuzzi who will go to the box. We'll step aside. The Leafs nothing, in the Detroit Red Wings heading to their first power play without a goal as well. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Got it into the slot now for Nyes, who scores!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
First period is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Well, this is where the Leafs need a huge bounce back is on the penalty kills.
Patrick Kane back on the bench for Detroit. And an intercept in the slot area set out and down the ice by Toronto.
Leafs have killed off just 4 of the last 8 times short.
Yarncrook and Nylander, the forwards, as it's broken up at the blue line nicely, and Jake McCabe sends it the rest of the way down the ice. Red Wings go back. Shane Gostisbehere dropping the puck back. Brought on now by Lucas Raymond. Raymond drops it as well as it hits the line. Brought into the zone. Off a stick, stolen by the Maple Leafs again. Marner is able to get it out into center ice, but the Red Wings shoot it right back in again. Raymond after the puck in the corner, stolen by the Leafs, and coolly shot out and down the ice by TJ Brody. Half the penalty is over. Red Wings dropping it back. Brought to center ice and to the line. Red Wings in on the far side. Veleno got it in along the boards. Benoit tied up his man. Puck goes free now for Joe Veleno, but he fails to find his man at the blue line, and it's forced the Red Wings back into their own zone. Brogan Rafferty dropping the puck back. Second unit on for Detroit. Through center, a pass broken up by Toronto. Matthews intercepts, got it ahead for Gregor. He can't penetrate, and the Red Wings have it again and push it out at center ice. Brought to the line and in. Dropped off on the wing, and it comes back into the slot. A chance for Sprong, and that is deflecting high and back to the blue line. Trapped there by Seider. Seider gets it down into the corner. Centering pass, trying to come to the net. It goes around back of the goal for Sprong, back to the point. Seider with it again. Seider to the top of the circles and down the pass in front. Oh, and a chance in front of the net, and it was forced wide of the goal by the Red Wings. Coming out of the corner with it is Fabry. His shot is deflected wide. Kept in by Olli Mata at the blue line. Leafs trying to steal it. A shot blockered away nicely there by Samsonov. And the Leafs are going to get it out at center. And Bertuzzi, the formerly penalized player, plays it back into his own zone and heads to the bench. 6 minutes to go in the first. No score. Off a Leaf stick and into the offensive zone it goes. Around the boards, it'll be trapped on the far side by Liljegren. He leaves. Works back towards the point. A long shot taken by Nylander, or by Robertson rather, went wide. Robertson centering pass. Intercepted. Red Wings get it out, but they have misfired that. And down the ice it goes, but no icing. Generous call by the officials there, and a centering pass is swallowed up by Samsonov, and he will hold on.
A lot of people thought with the struggles of Ilya Samsonov and the recent struggles of James Reimer, we might have a 6-4 game in the first period. Turns out that's just the shots on goal with 5.5 minutes to go.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news here. You know who's retiring? Nick Saban. My goodness gracious.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
We are saying goodbye to the greatest college football coach this sport has ever seen.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
College football is going to be a lot worse off without Nick Saban.
An expert analysis on college sports radio.
This is huge news. This is something that is going to have a massive domino effect on college football.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye line.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
On Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
the biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Radio Network.
Face-off coming in the Toronto zone to the right. And the draw scrummed, but played around back of the goal by the Maple Leafs. On the boards. Chipped up on the wing. It comes free to Nylander. He plays it back along for McCabe, who gets it ahead, but it was off the stick of Pontus Holberg and has gone for icing. 5:15 to play in the first period. Still no score in the hockey game.
And for James Reimer, Billy Husso has been out with an injury, and Alex Lyon has been fantastic for the Red Wings coming in. But for James Reimer, in his last start was December 27th in Minnesota. In his last 5 starts, he's 1-3-1 and has given up 27 goals in 5 games. Ilya Samsonov 0-1-3 in his last 4 in his 5.97 goals against.
Shot blocked at the Leaf blue line. Liljegren trying to break away, but was held, and the Leafs are going to go to their 3rd power play opportunity of the first period.
Because Liljegren, right off the face-off, charged out to block the shot from the right point. Holding is going to be the official call, and Mr. Bowen, I might suggest the Leafs better cash in on these opportunities sooner rather than later. This was a pretty good hold on to the stick of Timothy Liljegren.
Daniel Sprong getting the penalty. Draw coming to the right of James Reimer. Boy, he played well while he was here in Toronto, didn't he?
Well, even though they blew that lead in Game 7 against the Bruins, it was such a big deal to get in back in 2013. Take Boston to 7.
Round back of the net after an icing as Riley drops it back, and now Matthews to Marner. Back to Matthews and across the line to Tavares. Stops up at the half boards, runs into a traffic jam. Red Wings are going to outfight them. You have the man advantage. You've got Tavares up against the boards. He's got 2 Red Wings there, and no one comes to be the equalizer. And it's an easy clear for Detroit. Now the Leafs back in. Tavares along the boards. Lost the puck, but it comes back to the blue line, and Riley has it. Morgan Riley down into the corner for Tavares. Back off a stick to Riley. Quickly across. No one there. Played out at center ice, and Larkin is away. Larkin in on the left wing, trying to flip it in front. Big save made by Samsonov. And he's had to be really good when the Leafs are on the power play. Here's Tavares in over the line. Pulls up. He was bowled over there, and the puck goes free. Matthews centering in front of the net. Nylander a shot, and a sprawling block there on a good play made by Rasmussen. Kept alive by the Leafs in the offensive zone. Liljegren to Nylander. Into the corner for Matthews. Now to Yarncrook, a shot right on. Tavares banging away, but it is into the glove of Reimer and held for a face-off by the Detroit netminder.
Ilya Samsonov with his most impressive and biggest save in a number of weeks as he goes right to left to take away a shorthanded chance by Rasmussen, who was driving to the net. It was a great saucer pass by Dylan Larkin from the left wing side. And Sheldon Keefe probably could not wait to get the number 1 unit off the ice. They have given up a number of chances. About 3 off the rush while being on the power play. 29 seconds left in the Detroit penalty.
Pretty much 1 for each power play that the Leafs have had, right? Draw scrummed, but controlled by the Red Wings. Off the boards and down the ice it goes. 20 seconds left in the power play.
Just
no score in the game.
5 shots on goal, including the 3 power plays.
Brought on now at center by Yarncrook. He gets a return pass and flips it in on the right wing. Nyes gets it into the corner. Domi couldn't free it up. Now Bertuzzi comes out of the corner, back of the goal for Domi. Back to the blue line it goes, pass to the near side, but out of the penalty box, the Red Wings now have a 2-on-1. Sprong working in with a pass to the right wing side. Oh, and it was fanned on completely. Back to the point, though. Here's Justin Hall with a shot, and Samsonov is down to cover up and hold for a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Boy, Connor Timmins can breathe a sigh of relief. It's his first game since the Leafs lost 9-3 in Buffalo. And Timmins in that game, he's been a healthy scratch for 10 games since. We talk about how tough it is for a goaltender where you have a bad game and now you got to sit on that result for a week or two before you get back in. It's been 10 games for Connor Timmins. In that Buffalo game, he was -4 in 12.5 minutes of ice time.
Brought to center ice by Toronto. Nyes knocks it down into the corner. It goes free along the boards. Nyes trying to come up with it, but now Justin Hall will play it for the Red Wings out into neutral ice and down into the Leaf end. McCabe taken to the boards, knocked down on the play. Puck still free. Played along the boards, and Camp is able to free it up. And it's going to be knocked to the line and out at center ice. And Camp makes a nice play to find Noah Gregor. Gregor across the line. Ran into a lot of traffic. The puck is just kept in at the blue line. Knocked into the corner by Nyes. Olimata playing it up on the wing with 2:08 to play in a scoreless first period. Red Wings to center. Raymond got across the line, but the linesman says it's offside. And a faceoff will come in neutral ice as a result. The Leafs head west and into Edmonton to tangle with Connor McDavid on their next action, which is Tuesday night. We'll have that for you beginning at 9 o'clock.
It is amazing how every year, whether you're going to California or Western Canada, it either becomes harder or easier than the year before, right? It never seems to be constant. And now with Vancouver and Edmonton, or Vancouver and Winnipeg doing well.
Shot taken by Nylander was redirected just wide of the Red Wing goal. Played out at center for Morgan Riley. Far side, Pontus Holberg had it bounce over his stick. Then he couldn't control it, and the Red Wings get it into the zone. Now have numbers on the right wing side and a pass. Good defensive play made by T.J. Brody to deny the backdoor pass, which would have been an open net.
Detroit really has missed, what, about 3 or 4 of those? Not even a shot on goal.
Down off the boards, it comes out at a strange angle, but Marner able to come away with it. Got it into the corner. Domi back to the point. Marner shot from the point, deflected wide of the goal. Minute 4 to go in the period. One-handed pass by Bertuzzi doesn't work, and then a slash at it. Knocked it into the corner. He goes down after it. Bertuzzi working with a pass through the goal crease. No one home. Far side. Connor Timmins trying to keep it in. Bertuzzi helps him out. Back to the point. A shot goes off a leg, and it is cleared out and down the ice, and that'll force Marner back into his own end. Marner drops off for Timmins. Timmins, left wing feed, finds Benoit. Benoit doesn't get the puck in deep. It's pushed back out at center. Leafs are changing. Timmins has it under control back in his own zone and banks ahead for Yarncrook, who will play it into the Detroit end. 20 seconds left. Yarncrook comes away with it. A pass back to the point and a shot kicked away nicely by Reimer. Punched out at center ice. McCabe slows up his man. Robertson with the loose puck. Bounced to the line and out and chipped up on the left wing. Final seconds ticking down as it is played into the Detroit end. And time will run out.
Well, Sheldon Keefe said even last night with a 3-0 lead after the first period against Colorado, he said it wasn't that kind of game. He said we scored some fluky goals. We made a lot of mistakes. We gave up a lot of opportunities. And I don't know if he's going to be much more thrilled with this first period tonight. You're outshot 10-6 on a team that traveled this afternoon to get here for the game. And you had 3 power plays and probably gave up better chances than you got.
It is a 0-0 tie at the end of 20 minutes as Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming along for our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Carrie Underwood brings you a brand new way to work out. Just in time for your New Year's resolution. It's not just cardio, it's cardio.
A playlist that gets you ready to work out, gets you in the zone. I like stuff that I can either dance to or that I can get mad with.
High energy tracks you can sweat to. Plus, fitness tips from Carrie and her trainer. Cardio by Carrie's Country. Now in the Sirius XM app. Free with all trials and popular plans.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, how would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Most of Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs hosting the Red Wings on a back-to-back, and after 20 minutes, it's a 0-0 tie here at Scotiabank Arena. Now, there's a lot of storylines going into this one, Justin. There's an Ilya Samsonov in the net. There's the hour 40-something delays that we were having here with the Red Wings coming into town and having to push the game back. There's the complete juggling of the lines. So where do you want to start after a scoreless kind of sleepy period?
I mean, I think you got to start with Ilya Samsonov. You said 0-0. I mean, that is music to his ears, is it not?
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't the most prolific offensive explosion from either team, but the Red Wings had chances. Samsonov made a huge save on Rasmussen, and Samsonov held it in there. He was a little bit fortunate at times because there were a couple breakdowns that could have easily been goals. But Samsonov unscathed after giving up or after the Leafs gave up 10 shots in a first period with all this pressure, all this scrutiny. I mean, I think that was as good as you could ask for if you're coming in here with realistic expectations over what Samsonov can provide. So I think all in all, a pretty positive period for the biggest variable coming into this game, which was the Leafs goaltender.
Yeah, so first shot on net came a couple minutes into the game, and there was a cheer from the stands. And I wonder how you perceived that cheer, because I could hear where we're sitting. Look behind the curtains. We're sitting right in front of Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph, so we can hear when they're talking. And Joe goes, there's a little bit of encouragement from the fans, and I think he was genuine about it. But I think we thought maybe it was more of a Bronx cheer, right? Oh, first save, and like a sarcastic clap. Either way, by the end of the period, the claps were genuine for Ilya Samsonov. There was real cheers for him.
He earned his claps.
He earned the clap. So whether the first one was more of like, oh, congrats, you made a save. By the end, he had made a couple really big saves for the Maple Leafs, specifically on opportunities where the Maple Leafs had power plays and the other team, the Detroit Red Wings, got a couple shorthanded opportunities, which should not happen in general. Leafs got 3 power plays that period, and they didn't get more than 6 or 7 shots in the entire period. But I think whether the fans were really cheering or they were Bronx cheering, by the end, they had a lot to actually cheer for. And Ilya Samsonov goes into the intermission, which I said he needed to, with either a tie or a win, and he's probably feeling great right now.
Yeah, I do think the cheers were meant to be supportive. However, it's how you digest them yourself, if you're Samsonov, right? Like, if I was in that position, I'd probably think, oh, that was a little condescending, right? But I don't think it was intended to be that. And you're right, it didn't throw him, so maybe he felt like, hey, I got the support. I've got everyone on my side here. Once again, let's try to put my best foot forward here. They're not against me from jump. And maybe that contributed to a positive period. Maybe the Red Wings whiffing on a couple opportunities contributed to the positives of the period, or maybe Samsonov is just in a better place, and we saw that manifest itself on the ice where it matters the most.
Yeah, I will say definitely some puck luck too, and sometimes to be good, you got to get lucky, and I think the Maple Leafs had a little bit of luck. A couple backdoor looks that popped over the stick of the Red Wings. They had at least 2 or 3 empty net looks where the puck just jumped over or they whiffed on it, so Samsonov getting a little bit of look there. There's definitely some times where he was out of position, but I mean, that's Ilya Samsonov. Like, he's not going to come back and be brodeur. Like, he's gonna be who he is, but it's just about cleaning up the little mistakes, the bobbled pucks, and looking strong in his net. And I think we could say he had that, but I don't know if you should be feeling, good if you're a Maple Leafs player sitting in that locker room. It took the Red Wings 24 hours to get here from Detroit. All day long they were waiting, and at their airport, and then their flight got delayed, and then they walked into the arena. There were already fans in the arena when they arrived here. We were already sitting up in the booth getting ready to do the game, and they were arriving. So their schedule has been off the walls, and they show up, and you kind of get through the first period 0-0. You're outshot. You're probably outchanced. I know I asked you to look up the high danger chances, but the Leafs go into the locker room kind of like lucky to be tied.
Yeah, I mean, it was an anemic offensive performance, which means it wasn't much better than it was in the latter 2 periods of last night's game. They had 3 power play opportunities. They only mustered 7 shots on goal. One of them was added while we've been talking here. They only had 6 when we first
I saw that
entered
sneaky
the booth.
little shot at it.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs, that was not, and there's a lot of change to the lineup, and maybe there's a bit of a feeling out process there, but in terms of like automatic upgrade on what we saw or an immediate shot in the arm, I don't think we saw that. That was not a particularly strong offensive period for the Maple Leafs, and they don't deserve to have a goal just the same as maybe the Red Wings don't.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. I don't know if your out-of-town scoreboard is going to be as busy as it was last night.
It won't be.
It can't possibly be as busy because every single team was in action yesterday. But we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with a couple more thoughts and a look around the NHL before we send it to the second period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
hindsight.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2meninaTruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage. I'm going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-like en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert on your pregame show and your intermissions. Good thing we got through that pregame show because it was a lengthy one. Maple Leafs waited in line, waited patiently for the Detroit Red Wings to arrive, and it is 0-0 after 20 minutes. Pontus Holberg.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument for Ilya Samsonov being the best Leaf in the period, but I think the best Leaf in the period was Pontus Holberg, who got the upgrade to first-line left winger playing with Austin Matthews and William Nylander. He drew a penalty, was throwing his body around. I mean, Pontus Holberg continues to kind of set the standard for this Leaf team.
Is it too late for him to be an all-star?
I think it is, which is like great and all because you want players to rise to the occasion and play better than you expected. Yeah, meet expectations or exceed expectations, but he can't be the guy driving the bus. And tonight, at least through one period, I thought he was the guy driving the bus for the Maple Leafs.
We also failed to mention in our 3-hour pregame show, Justin Hall for the Detroit Red Wings is back in town. He got a very lovely ovation when his video board tribute went up.
It's lovely? That's how you're going to describe it?
I will say it was lovely. It was quaint.
Quaint? What is this, a coffee shop in a hamlet in Ontario?
It was quaint and lovely, and he had a great big smile on his face.
He did. He had a huge grin on his face. I've never seen anyone happier to be acknowledged in their return to Toronto.
That's why it was lovely. It was more lovely that he was having a nice time.
Yeah, he was a character in his 6 seasons with the Maple Leafs. Very well liked. I'm sure they'll have a laugh about that after because he had that big smile as he was kind of holding one hand up.
I think everybody was getting a beer.
Acknowledging the crowd. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard. Presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Only one other game today.
Oh, you're
only 4
in
teams.
luck.
Only 4 teams had to play the second half of back-to-back after everybody was in action yesterday, and it's already in the books. The New York Rangers, beat the Washington Capitals 2-1. So all eyes across the hockey world on Ilya Samsonov and the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are currently 0-0 with the Detroit Red Wings in the first intermission.
Did Bonesy get a chance to tell everyone that his Green Bay Packers won yet? Or yeah, he mentioned it.
I'm sure he mentioned it. What was the final in that one?
It was like 79-2.
48-32, 80 combined points. I hope you have the over.
How about this Lions game?
The Lions game, it's currently 7-3 for the Lions.
We're giving everybody every out-of-town scoreboard.
There's a couple P-Dub games. Who won in the P-Dub today?
I'll have it for you in the second period, all right? I wasn't ready for the P-Dub.
One more note on the first period between the Leafs and Red Wings. Back to business. Patrick Kane did exit the game at a certain point. Looked like he landed on his hip. So Patrick Kane a little beat up in this one early. We'll monitor his
He was one of our players to watch, so we'll watch and see when he makes his return. And Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph are making their return right behind us. They'll have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
To truly go inside the game of pro football, you need to see things from the player's perspective.
Let's go.
Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Catch the Players' Point.
Let's go. Let's bring energy.
Join NFL tight end Colin Thompson and Miami Dolphins fullback Alec Ingold as they break down the biggest stories in the NFL.
It's an encouraging way to look at football.
The Players' Point. Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Only on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores.
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, how would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
Radio Network.
Leafs nothing and the Detroit Red Wings nothing. The Leafs outshot by Detroit 10-7. They've added one for the Maple Leafs here during the intermission. And the Leafs had 3 power play opportunities and could not beat James Reimer. In fact, on the 3 power plays, the best chances were probably given to the Red Wings, and Ilya Samsonov had to come up with a couple of sparkling saves to keep the score 0-0.
And I believe, Andrew, is that correct? Patrick Kane has not returned to the bench for the second period. Lower body injury. So pretty important part of the Wings offense, what we saw what Colorado did without some important pieces last night.
Played to the Toronto blue line. Leafs defend the goal to our left. And an offside right off the hop. 9 seconds into the period. We'll bring a face-off outside the Toronto zone.
By the way, Patrick Kane up to 16 points in 18 games coming into this one. Had a goal and an assist last night, their win over the Los Angeles Kings. Some guys look so strange in a different jersey, don't they?
It was like seeing Boreas Salming in a Red Wing uniform, or Daryl Sittler in a Flyers uniform, yeah. Or Matt Sundin, for that matter, in a Vancouver Canucks jersey, right? At the point, the Leafs keep the puck, and a shot deflects and scores! A deflection in front of the net by Pontus Holberg is going to give the Leafs a 1-0 lead on a rather innocent-looking play from Morgan Rielly back at the blue line.
Going to the net, and Holberg was cruising through the slot at the redirection over the left pad of James Reimer. I don't know if Austin Matthews is going to get an assist on this as well. I mean, this seemed to be just perfect timing. Morgan Rielly looked up, threw it towards the net, and I don't know, does it go off the skate? Maybe of Holberg and in? I don't think that hits his stick, Joe.
But you know what? You could see Rielly thinking that, couldn't you? He purposely shot the puck. It looked like it was going wide. Now here's Marner trying to center, and Bertuzzi failed to redirect. The puck in the corner. Marner comes out of the corner with it, took a shot. That was high and wide over top of the goal. Gets it back again at the blue line. Fed down into the corner for Domi. Domi drops for Marner. Marner shot in traffic, deflected wide. Bertuzzi was creating a screen. He's taken down on the play as it goes back to the net. Domi reverses his field. Oh, and a chance. He set up Bertuzzi in front of the goal, and Tyler couldn't get his stick on it. Red Wings back the other way with a shot kicked away by Samsonov.
That was Shane Gostisbehere that just got his hand
Now
on.
Domi gets a break. He's in a goal, and a chance. And it was off the pad of Reimer. Leafs starting quickly here in the second period. Sorry, Jimmy, I had to interrupt your important information there for that rush. Got anything?
No, it's all you, big boy. Why don't you talk about your football team?
Yeah, we won again today. How about the Green Bay Packers? As an owner, as you know, I sent a nice congratulatory note to the team. I'm not sure they'll read it.
I do believe my 4-year-old nephew's an owner as well. He got that for Christmas.
Really?
You probably see him at the meeting.
Yeah, probably see him at the annual general meeting then. Yeah. Does he need help with his proxy? No, just the diapers.
I think they Googled it.
Puck in the center ice area. It is the most unique sports franchise in North America, though, in that it is publicly owned, and idiots like me can be shareholders. I don't get any dividend. I cannot sell my share, so no one can buy 51% of the team's shares and move it. So little Green Bay, Wisconsin, the size of North Bay, Ontario, is going to have an NFL team in perpetuity. And I think that's kind of neat.
I can give you the same deal for $25,000 of MLS East.
I had thought about that. Yeah.
Same
idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't move it? No.
You can e-transfer me if you want.
You got it?
I'll fire the
you got some cash like that?
Yeah, I'll even frame it for you.
Oh, hey, nice. So everybody, we're going to hand out Jim Ralph's email address, and we would love for you to
this is just for you.
Oh.
'Cause I don't know if I could find other people that would go for that great deal in Green Bay here in Toronto, but I like to start out small.
Well, that's true. You know what?
And you get to go to all the home games.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Nice. Shot from the point is whistled over top of the Leaf.
For the next 3 years, anyway.
So you're saying road games are out. Played down into the Detroit end. Hustling in after it into the corner. Down deep there is Brody as the puck came free and slipped back into the corner then by Gregor. And the Red Wings have it now under control, fed around by Gostisbehere to the near wing. Leafs are able to keep it in. Gregor trying to chip it in there, then was taken down. 2-on-2 rush here for Detroit. And across the line, trying to work down into the corner. Good play by Liljegren to tie his man up. And the puck comes along the boards, but pushed by Ben Sherratt back in deep. Leafs get another opportunity to clear, and they'll get it ahead now, and it's brought to center ice by David Camp. Camp sending a long shoot in off Reimer, and it went off his blocker, and it looked like he lost sight of it, didn't know where it went, but it went into the corner. Red Wings back at center, trying to get in over the line. It's played to the side of the Leaf goal. McCabe got it there, got it up on the wing. Pontus Holberg sends it back around to the near side, and now the Leafs get it out into the center ice area, but can't get it through neutral ice. Brought back by Detroit. Shot deflects off Fabby's stick and goes to the far side. Nylander is able to punch it out at center ice. Matthews with Nylander and Pontus Holberg. The forward line's juggled up a lot by Sheldon Keefe for this one. And the puck in the center ice area, and Matthews had that go by him, and the Leafs have to go back to regroup it in their own zone. Played ahead off the stick of Nylander, and it bounces to the net, and it'll be covered up by Reimer with Holberg in the vicinity. And there'll be a face-off coming in the Detroit end.
Well, obviously a very important start for Ilya Samsonov. But regardless of how they
rebound and is out at center and now down into the Leaf end. Riley goes back behind the net. Got it to Timmins in the near boards. He couldn't get it out. Red Wings back in, down low. A pass back in front. That went off his stick, and it is cleared by Domi, but not out again. JT Comper playing it around back of the near boards. Played ahead now. The Leafs are able to dig it out, and Riley comes through neutral ice. Into the slot. Off on the wing for Bertuzzi. Chopped back of the net for Domi. Domi to Marner. Marner with a shot. Knocked down. Marner couldn't get the rebound in time to get another attempted goal. The Red Wings bring it back into the Leaf end. Down into the corner. Far side. McCabe after it. Brody trying to tie his man up, and a centering pass by the Red Wing forward has it come all the way down into the Detroit end. Olimata giving it ahead for Daniel Sprong. He'll play it into the Toronto zone. McCabe reverses the puck for Brody. He ran into a forecheck there that now has it up against the boards. Tavares was able to free it up. Marner banking it out and down into the Red Wing zone. It's going to be right on goal, and it'll force Reimer to cover up on it with traffic arriving. As we are a second shy of playing 6 minutes into the second period, 1-0 in favor of the Maple Leafs on a goal by Pontus Holberg, his second of the season. Riley with the lone assist.
You'd think that by now the Red Wings would have their legs. Usually it's only preseason you'll see teams will travel the day of the game, but if you're joining us and wondering why it's only in the second period, the game had been delayed because of the Red Wings' travel problems coming into Toronto last night.
Played down into the Red Wing zone. Icing waved off. Liljegren against the near boards. Got it ahead for Tavares, but that scrum continues. And it's pushed out into the center ice area. Liljegren at his own blue line. Up on the wing for Järnkrok. Knocked back out at center by Detroit. Woo, Liljegren made a backhand pass there, and it was almost picked off by Lucas Raymond, and he had nothing but real estate in front of him. Now Liljegren works in over the line into the Red Wing zone. Around the boards it's going to go, but unable to get there in time to keep it in was Brody. He comes back into his own zone. Now circles to try to get away from Larkin. The pass comes ahead. Camp can't get in over the line cleanly. Neither could Nick Robertson. Robertson's heading to the bench. Crowd has developed right at the Toronto bench area, and penchant for having too many men on the ice. I trust everybody was counting feet there. And the Red Wings now with a delayed offside to work with are coming out of their own end. Played off on the wing for Olimata. And on the left wing for Larkin. Shot wide and back of the Toronto net. Riley got it ahead. Pushed then by Noah Gregor into the Detroit end. Backhanded by Ben Sherrod up the boards, and the Red Wings have 3 of them coming to center. Brought by Larkin across the line. Works into the left wing corner. Centers in front. Loose puck knocked away from in front of the net, and then a shot coming in front. And Samsonov is able to swallow that up on the short side.
Well, that's a dangerous play. Ilya Samsonov had his chest pointed to the middle of the ice, and the puck came from the goal line to his left, and I think very nearly caromed off him and into the goal, but he was able to cover up on it.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why they've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
When you gotta move, all moving day, all moving day. Think 2-minute-truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Nice has tied the game, but a brilliant play by Max Domi.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs won and the Detroit Red Wings no score. Pontus Holberg from Riley. 32 seconds into the match. Gerald Sittler is in the house.
He's up here in the press box, stuck his head into the booth a little earlier. And a pretty big bonus if you're being presented a jersey from somebody that's got his banner hanging up here in this arena.
I would think so. Red Wings trying to pressure the Leafs in the defensive zone. Nylander is able to come away with it. Drops it off for McCabe. Bank pass finds Matthews. Played in over the line for Holberg, but out of his reach. Ben Sherratt gets it to the line, but not out. Nylander intercepts. Looks for Matthews. Matthews down into the corner for Pontus Holberg. Round on the boards, not going to get to McCabe, who has to backpedal into his own zone. Pass off on the wing for David Perron. He can't get a shot away. Leafs with time and space in the far corner. Get it ahead, and it's rolled out into neutral ice, and Matthews will catch up to it. He's in over the line, into the slot. Got a shot away, but it deflected off a body and went wide. Kept in by Benoit. Punched down into the corner, but no support there. And the Red Wings have it under control in their own zone. 11:17 to go in the second period, and it is 1-0 Toronto. Sherratt got it to the Leaf blue line. Leafs Benoit in his own zone, got it up on the wing. Now Bertuzzi chips it deep into the Detroit zone. Out of the net, Reimer just did get it into the corner. Bertuzzi is there again, back of the net. Domi couldn't help out, he was too well covered. And it is pushed out at center ice, forcing Connor Timmins back into his own end. Timmins to Bertuzzi, or to Benoit to get it out. Leaves Domi in across the line. Marner going hard to the net. Couldn't deliver a backhand and then spun and got a forehand away that Reimer had a little bit of difficulty with, but was able to stop it and then get a glove on it.
Mitch Marner got as much as he would have liked. He might have been actually trying to go low glove side to produce a rebound. He had Bertuzzi going late. Max Domi sniffing around as well, looking for a rebound.
Marner, I was
going to say halfway through this game, and many thought that this was going to be closer to the Packer game score this afternoon, but just 1-0 midway through the second.
Marner stuck at 599 points, and there's a wrist shot by Yarncrook that went wide of the goal. Trying to reach 600. He will be the fastest Leaf ever to do it. As it comes up on the left wing to Tavares. Rink-wide pass was in behind Brody. He corrals and shoots it in. Reimer out of the cage to play it on the glass. Chopped at by Sprong. Controlled by the Leafs. Dropping it back for Riley. Shot in on goal. That was deflected wide of the net by Yarncrook on the doorstep. Leafs keep it in. Robertson got it in momentarily, but the Red Wings get it out, only to turn it over again. Off the boards to center to Yarncrook. Yarncrook will shoot it in. Tavares in around back of the net. Yarncrook banks it back to the blue line. McCabe with a shot, and that deflected wide of the Red Wing goal. Now Liljegren double teamed on the near boards. Gets some support there from Yarncrook. Pass off on the wing. McCabe gives it back to Yarncrook. Now to Liljegren. Bank pass into the corner for Nicky Robertson. Robertson curls, still with it. Drops it off. A pass in front of the goal. Went off of Camp's stick, but it really slowed everything up as he wasn't able to redirect the hard pass. He more slowed it up to try to maybe get a shot away himself, and Reimer was able to cover up. Pontus Holberg is the only one on the board. Leafs with a 1-0 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, I'm Nicole.
Hi, I'm Stanley T.
And I'm Ryan, and we host the Morning Mashup on Hits 1.
make sure to check out the brand new SiriusXM app.
You can find the new Morning Mashup page on our redesigned app and keep up with the latest episodes of the show, our favorite celebrity interviews, exclusive video, and much more.
Just search Mashup in the app to find us.
And then you can keep exploring for all your SiriusXM favorites, and maybe you'll find a new discovery to add to your library.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
Radio Network.
Face-off coming in the Detroit zone. 9:20 to play in the second period. 1-0 Toronto.
Really, Samsonov has been solid. Other than the save off Rasmussen, hasn't been forced to be spectacular too often.
Icing call here against Detroit. The Leafs having a much better second period. Shot-wise, they are now out shooting the Red Wings 16-14. So let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9-4 here in the second period, I think.
Red Wings really haven't had a lot of offensive zone time, have they, here in the second period?
Leafs win the face-off. Batted by Nylander, intercepted by the Red Wings, played out at center, brought in across the line, in on goal, and Samsonov got a pad on it. Penalty coming here to Toronto for hooking, though.
Well, I thought there was a chance that could have been a penalty shot. So the Red Wings will go to their second power play of the night. It all starts when Willie Nylander fell, and he actually had enough time to get back up and make a play, but as he was falling, he swept it to a Red Wing stick. A couple of passes later, Morgan Riley's got to put the hook on Delano to keep the Red Wings from tying it on a breakaway.
10:59, the time of the infraction to Riley. I believe that's his first penalty this year.
Oh, that's right. There goes the Lady Bing.
Rung around the boards and sent down the ice off a face-off win by the Maple Leafs. Didn't Nicholas Lidstrom go through a season where
it was ridiculously low?
Yeah. Now here are the Red Wings and across the line, flipping it off onto the right wing side. It comes back to the blue line, walking the line, Goss Despair. He had it knocked away by Nylander. Nylander hoping for Yarncrook to arrive in front and then decided to take a shot. And Reimer wasn't fooled by the decoy and is able to hold on and bring a face-off in the Toronto end. Not a bad choice by Nylander either. With Yarncrook going hard to the net, if it goes by and all of a sudden everybody's going in the other direction.
Trying to do a quick search on Nick Lidstrom.
Draw one and a Benoit shot deflects wide of the goal. Down into the corner it goes. And the Red Wings organize with 1:19 left in the power play. Dropped off there for Fabry. Up on the left wing now and into the zone for Joe Veleno. Leafs are able to punch it back towards the blue line. Trapped there by Seider. Fed into the slot area for Daniel Sprong. He works to the right wing corner. Played it back to the blue line to Seider. Down low. Puck comes to the side of the net. And the quick hands of Ilya Samsonov gets the blocking glove out to cover up on that loose puck at the side. And he makes a stop to bring a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Been kind of a grinder game for both goalies, hasn't it? A lot of bouncing pucks in front. As we said, the Red Wings actually had their best chances while shorthanded in the opening period. For 2-on-1 breaks, and that's where Rasmussen had a great chance that Samsonov got over on. But everything else, including the goal by Holberg, have been screens and deflections.
Draw one by Detroit. Looking for Gostisbehere back at the point. Walks the line, dishes off into the far half boards, down low, trying to find Comfer. It goes back up on the half wall, back to Comfer, back of the net. He goes around back of the goal. Got it off on the near side for David Perron, and a shot from the blue line. And snapping that out of the air with authority is Ilya Samsonov, and there'll be a face-off coming in the Toronto end.
I don't know if things have been going that well. You're gonna look like Jacques Plante in the 64 finals, throwing the glove up with authority, a little bit of flair.
As long as it's not Patrick Waugh in the playoffs.
That's right.
When he threw it into the net after giving the camera save a bit. Here's a pass in front of the Leaf goal. It comes into the near corner. 20 seconds left in the power play. Rung over on the far wing for Lucas Raymond. Back to the point. Gostisbehere to Raymond. Closing with a shot. Block. Rebound in front. Larkin trying to free it up. Raymond on the far half boards has it. Now back of the net. Raymond gets it again. Penalty about to expire, and now has. Into the corner goes Comfer. Riley coming out into the slot area as the Red Wings play it back to the point. Ole Mata holds. Dished off on the wing. Perron sends it along the boards to the far side. A one-timer that was blocked and fanned upon on the far side by Ole Mata. Mata dropping it back. Comfer works back into the corner. Good cycling here by Detroit. Another shot. Down is Samsonov, and he'll get the Leafs an important face-off by holding on to this one. Dylan Larkin kind of threw his stick up in the air in frustration, thinking that maybe he should have deflected that.
Well, that was maybe the first time we've seen the Leafs really passive defending in their own zone. It was almost like it was an extension of the penalty kill. Now a huge draw, 6:34 to go here in the second period. And the Leafs holding on to the 1-0 lead on the goal by Holberg for Morgan Riley.
Face off to the left in the Toronto zone. Played around to the near corner. Timmins with a lead pass at center for Matthews. Matthews on to the skates there of Yarncrook, who gets it down into the corner. Unable to find Matthews, however, and the Red Wings get it out. 6:17 to play in the period, and the Leafs with a 1-0 lead in the second. Lead pass. Holberg brings it in. Stops up into the slot. A shot by Nylander. Steered aside by Reimer. The Red Wings, Ole Mata turning back in his own zone. Played up on the wing by Justin Hall. It goes into the Leaf zone. Benoit up on the boards. Timmins and Domi fail to get it out. Left wing side now for Fabry, and it's intercepted, and now Marner comes to center with Domi in across the line. Back to Marner. Marner had it bounce off his stick as he was heading into the corner, and it's out at center ice for Detroit. Pass into the slot area. Fabry curls, gets it down low. A backhand went right through the goal crease. Another shot. Goaltender Samsonov had his stick kind of twisted around a little bit. The Leafs are able to come away with it, and they have it under control in their own zone. Lead pass for Domi. And across the line, left wing side and into the corner. Centering pass by Riley, and that was deflected, and now the Red Wings start back out. Morgan Riley gets back and takes out nicely Joe Veleno with a hit. Riley's speed is deceiving, I think is as good a term as any. He is into the rush, looks like he might be trapped, and the next thing you know, he's right back in the middle of the play.
That's why Kel McCarr, you see, do that on a regular basis as well, and that's why you don't put the reins on them, because they know they're pretty responsible in getting back.
Jake McCabe in his own zone, Had the puck stripped away. It's down into the corner. Red Wings with it now. Trying to come out with it is Perrin, and they score. Dylan Larkin in front of the net. A David Perrin centering pass. And Larkin snaps it over the shoulder of Samsonov. And it is a 1-1 tie.
We've got chasing around a little bit. And I mean, it looks like Larkin is not in a dangerous scoring area. He's below the face-off dot to the right of Samsonov. Samsonov was more, Joe, hugging the post than kind of squaring up to where the shot was coming from. That reverse VH we talk about all the time. You're already down in your knees, hold it onto the right post. And when the puck just comes out to the circle, you're not in a position to be able to square up.
17th of the season for the Red Wing captain. The game is tied 1-1. Matthew Nyes gets it down into the zone. Bouncing disc to control. Goes back to the net to Timmins. Oh, and a brilliant split save made there by Reimer. Off of Timmins coming in off the point. Shot down into the Toronto zone. Timmins goes back after the puck. Had to come right out in front of the goal. Down is Samsonov, and the Leafs are able to punch it out of the goal crease. Oh, big turnover there from Connor Timmins.
Well, tried to get it to Benoit and put it off his skate.
Now here's a chance for Benoit. Centering pass, no one there. And Ben Sherratt will turn. Matthews couldn't get it. Puck comes back at center for Nylander. Nylander to Matthews. Matthews will work to the line and in. Matthews working to the right wing side. Nylander into the slot. Matthews holds up, still with it. Cross ice pass back to the point. Brody, and the shot in front of the net is deflected high into the screen and out of play. A 1-1 tie with 3:08 to go in the second period, and you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier, because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Unhibernate. Verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs won and the Detroit Red Wings won. Second period, 3:08 left to play in it.
Here's this one. Lidstrom never won the Lady Byng Trophy. Talked about Morgan Riley's first 2 penalty minutes. Jacob Slavin, though, won the Lady Byng in 2020-21, picking up 2 penalty minutes on the season. And I believe it was for delay of game, puck over the glass.
No. Leafs keep the puck in, chopped into the corner. Pontus Holberg couldn't come up with it. Red Wings get it out into neutral ice. Brody off the boards. Nylander chipping it into the zone. Holberg couldn't come up with it. Matthews likewise. And it's out at center ice now for Detroit. Rasmussen has it taken away by Holberg. Reverse for Morgan Riley, but that was in a traffic jam. Now it's around back of the net. in the Leaf zone, and it is dug out by Matthews, who gets it ahead. Riley skating through neutral ice. Will just chip it in. Lots of change coming here as the Leafs go to the bench. Nylander couldn't come up with it at the blue line. Domi trying to keep it alive, works to the left wing side. Now a pass in front for Matthews, and he tried to center it in front of the net. Nylander was all alone there, but he couldn't get him the puck. Liljegren unable to keep it in. Domi against the boards, comes back with a pass to the left wing side. Nylander with a shot on Matthews, had it go off the stick wide and heads to the bench. Nylander remains out there as the puck comes to center, and the Leafs have to go back to their own blue line. Played by McCabe. In on the wing goes to Marner. Left wing side coming to the front of the net. They score! There's the 600th point for Marner as Bertuzzi sends the puck back, and Mitchell Marner has a 4x6 to tap it home.
Where you give Bertuzzi a ton of credit. He has scored a grand total of 1 goal in his last 19 games. You would not be critical of him trying to shoot from a prime scoring area, but instead takes the pass from Marner in the left wing circle, looks up, sees Marner has gone to the far post, delays just long enough and throws it to a wide open Mitch Marner, who chips it in. So for Tyler Bertuzzi, the goals may not have been there, but that's a very unselfish play that has the Leafs up 2-1.
548 games to reach 600 points for the Maple Leafs. Darryl Sittler in the house as a long shot is swallowed up by Samsonov. Previously held the record at 584 games to reach 600 points. Sundin took 601. Dave Keon 735. Mitch Marner now 600 points in 548 games. Jake McCabe is going to get an additional assist on the Leafs' go-ahead goal.
Pretty opportunity give and go between Bertuzzi and Marner. By the way, for Bertuzzi, it's 1 goal in his last 21. So
I agree with you.
Yeah, for a guy not to look at that as a way to pad the goal totals. And let's face it, if he botches the pass, we're going to be saying, why wouldn't you have shot from there? But the decision pays off for the Leafs.
But Marner had an absolute 4x6 to shoot it at. Shot by Seider, goes off a leg, comes back to his defenseman on the far side, now played around back of the net. Less than a minute to go in the period. Leafs get it ahead. Gregor gets it out at center. David Camp will send it in deep. Nyes going in there after it. The puck along the boards, and it's played to the line. The Leafs keep it in. Camp to the far side for Nyes. Bumped in there, and the puck comes free. Seider goes down in the collision there with Nyes. And Matthew Nyes has struggled offensively here too, I think, Jimmy, which is one of the reasons why some of all of this shakeup has him going from the number 1 line to the number 4 line.
2 goals and 6 points in Nyes' last 19 games.
Played back to the blue line. It comes to the left wing side. Oli Mata with a shot. Pad save made there by Samsonov. 10 seconds left in the period. Leafs trying to take a lead to the dressing room, and they're going to do just that as they play it down into the Red Wing zone, and the final seconds will tick down. So a late goal from Mitch Marner, his 18th from Bertuzzi and McCabe, and his 600th career point have the Maple Leafs out in front 2-1. All of the scoring in the second. Pontus Holberg for the Maple Leafs as well, and Dylan Larkin for Detroit.
And Leafs obviously having blown leads against the New York Islanders and Colorado Avalanche coming into this one. You would like to think it's defense first, but probably still need another one, Joe. Get any kind of feeling of comfort or relief.
14-8 shots on goal favoring Toronto in the second period. It is a 2-1 lead. We will step aside. Ailish Forfire and Justin Cuthbert coming along with our intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans.
This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray. Special guest, Lamar Jackson.
Did you have that chip on your shoulder still?
I definitely do still have that chip on my shoulder. I don't think I have accomplished what I wanted to yet, so that's why that chip is still on my shoulder. I want that Super Bowl. You know, I've been chasing that for a long time.
Listen now to the extended version of Let's Go, exclusively on the SiriusXM app, included with all our trials and popular plans.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
NHL Morning Skate.
Chris Knobloch, head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. No coaching experience in Paul Coffey. What's that been like as far as a rather unique fit as an assistant?
If you look at of all the things that have improved with our team, and maybe even the most is how well our defense has been playing. Paul's done a great job of communicating with them and getting a message on just playing assertively.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 hockey talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91,
and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91,
and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
and the Leafs Radio Network.
And the Leafs have to go back to their own blue line. Played by McCabe. In on the wing, goes to Marner, left wing side, coming to the front of the net, they score! There's the 600th point for Marner as Bertuzzi sends the puck back, and Mitchell Marner has a 4x6 to tap it home.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs lead 2-1 after 40 minutes against the Detroit Red Wings. And you heard it there, Mitch Marner getting the second goal for the Maple Leafs and his 600th career point as a Toronto Maple Leaf. It only took him 548 games, the fastest ever for a Maple Leaf to hit that number.
Yeah, congratulations
awesome
to Mitch Marner. Gets to the All-Star game, gets 600 points, gets a Maple Leaf record, and we were talking about it yesterday. It might not last forever or even like 5 games because Austin Matthews is nipping at his heels. But yeah, it's always good when Maple Leaf players get their accolades. It seems to be something that resembles a shot in the arm, and maybe for that reason, Mitch Marner will come back, have a good third period, and the Maple Leafs can hold on to this one instead of blowing a second consecutive lead.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Matthews Harrity's at 590 points, and he's playing in game 521 tonight. So he needs 10 points, and he's got about, if my math serves me, 27 more games to do it. And I think he could probably do it at his pace.
I bet on him to do it. I was actually in the process of looking up the last time one of the core four players scored, and just because they hadn't got off the schneid this weekend, right? It was like really 5 periods without Marner or Tavares or
and then
Nylander.
They scored to ruin your stat.
Just as I was looking at that, Mitch Marner puts in the back of the net for that record-breaking goal or point. So, it seems like it was about time for Marner to get to 600, but also about time for one of those core four guys to get on the score sheet and give the Maple Leafs back their lead.
It's always better when it's on a goal, too. Like, you get your 1,000th point. It's, a second assist. You basically were off the ice and it doesn't really count. But that was a beautiful goal. It was Tyler Bertuzzi setting Marner up. And when he made that pass, I was like, shoot the puck. Oh, Marner's there, and it goes in. Like, it didn't look like the right play at first. I think sometimes the Maple Leafs, specifically when they have new lines like they do tonight, are just trying to, get puck touches. Like, okay, I'm going to pass. And that looked like it was going to be an overpass. But a really great vision from Tyler Bertuzzi to send it back over to Marner, who basically had a wide open net just to tap it in. So, the line situation has been interesting. They're kind of just rolling everybody for the game, but they're starting to see a little bit more clicking in that second period.
Yeah, I would say so. The first period was a little disjointed. This one maybe less so. I still think they're looking for dominant sequences, dominant shifts, dominant stretches of play in this game. But right now, through 40 minutes, they've got enough to have a lead. I will say that Bertuzzi pass. Bertuzzi's a crafty offensive player. He might not look like a Mona Lisa out there in terms of what his style, but also his style of play. But boy, he makes some good passes in the offensive zone. He is a capable offensive player. You keep putting him with offensive players, you'll get good results. We've seen the connection with Nylander. Now maybe we're seeing some with Mitch Marner. Excuse me.
We buried the lead. I guess Mitch Marner getting 600 points is the lead. But how about our guy Pontus Holberg getting on the score sheet first for the Toronto Maple Leafs? We talked about him a little bit yesterday in that first period when he was the Maple Leafs' best player, and then the Leafs blew a lead, and we kind of didn't have much positive to talk about. But even leading our show today, he gets opportunity on the top line, and he delivers. I really like his style of play because he's a hard worker, but he does some gritty stuff too, right? He throws the body, he's physical, he gets in the corners. It's like he knows, I want to stay up here, so I'm going to be the first on the puck, and I'm going to finish my check, and I'm going to back check, and I'm going to stick check. Like he's all over the place, deservingly so, getting this opportunity. But I've liked what he had to do. He gets a goal, of course, and he might have been at hand in Patrick Kane not being on the ice anymore.
Yeah, the icebreaker on a nice tip, and it looks like his physicality, at least the Red Wings broadcast picked up on this, his physicality is what resulted in Patrick Kane leaving the game, and he will not return to this game, maybe because Pontus Holberg was pretty hard on the Red Wings superstar, and we're seeing it now, and maybe he forced Kane from the game. So Pontus Holberg is living up to expectation. If we had much expectation as a top-line forward, he's had a really good start tonight, and he might be the Leafs' best player through 2 periods.
Okay, Ilya Samsonov lets in 1 goal. It was a sharp angle shot. I still haven't been able to really see if he got tipped or he was completely screened by his own player, but nonetheless, gets a goal scored on him. And man, Simon Benoit, he could be in the run for the Vezina after what he did on the second opportunity that the Red Wings had in that period. Basically, Samsonov gets danced, wide open net, and Benny comes from behind Samsonov, uses his stick to keep the puck out of the net, and then clears it. So Sammy owes Benny maybe a steak or something for that one, because that would have been 2 goals in like a back-to-back fashion, a couple shifts apart, and that's when, things start to crumble a bit. But Simon Benoit kept the Maple Leafs tied up at that point, and, that's so far so good with Ilya Samsonov. I'm feeling steady.
Yeah, I mean, again, as much as you could ask for, I don't think the goal for the Red Wings scored by Dylan Larkin was at all really a major blemish on Elias Samsonov. I think it was a fine goal to give up because it was a nice shot, a nice finish from him, and kind of a defensive breakdown that Jake McCabe was involved in. But so far, I think he's done his job. He's gotten some help. But what are teammates for? I mean, you got to help each other out. That was a breakdown, and Samsonov might have been beat, but Benoit got there and saved him. So they might need a couple more plays like that to hold on to this lead.
One last fitting thing before we send it to break was Mitch Marner obviously getting his 600th point. He beat Daryl Sittler's point record, which was 584 games played, to get that for more than 45 years ago. And Daryl Sittler's in the house tonight, and he gave a fan a jersey, a signed jersey on one of their in-arena contests, and so that was really sweet, and he's there to pass the torch to Mitch Marner.
Yeah, the 600 fastest to 600 torch.
It's a torch nonetheless.
I hope he's in the building when a Leaf gets 11 points to break his record for points in a game.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but hopefully Daryl will be here for it if it does.
Well, they got 20 minutes to add 10 more points for Pontus Holberg, and he could be the one. We will take a quick break, though. On the other side, we'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll finish up our thoughts before the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now, starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick single-family homes come with a long list of features you've always dreamed of. Gourmet kitchens, freestanding tubs, and even fully finished lower levels. Dare to compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Are you looking for a trusted and experienced online high school where you can earn credits or upgrade your marks? Learn with Ontario Virtual School, Ontario's leading online provider with a 5-star Google rating. OVS has over 140 interactive grade 7 to 12 courses to choose from, including STEM, French immersion, and more. Sign up today, create your own timetable, and get access to their supportive teachers and counselors. See why over 25,000 students have chosen to learn with OVS. Visit OntarioVirtualSchool.ca.
So when you gotta move, all moving day, Think 2-minute truck, 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
2 good saves, 3 good saves, another shot, 4 good saves made.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for a few more minutes. Maple Leafs up 2-1 after 40 minutes.
Eilish, if I was to ask you who the most likely Maple Leaf to win an award this year would be, who would you say? Well, you got the Rocket Richard
goodness
potentially
gracious.
with Austin
Matthews to win
Hart
something.
Trophy potentially. How about I submit Morgan Riley for the Lady Byng?
Oh,
Riley
that's
skated
nice.
nearly 1,000 minutes this year without getting whistled, 988 in fact. Got a penalty earlier on, but it looked like William Nylander should have been called for it. I think Morgan Riley for Lady Byng makes a lot of sense for me.
Get those odds. Okay, let's take one last look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Just one other game in action after everybody was in action yesterday. The Rangers beat the Washington Capitals 2-1 earlier. Let's see if the Maple Leafs can hold on to their 2-1 lead now.
All right, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hi, it's Billy Joel here.
Because you had to be a big
It's back. All my music on my very own channel, the Billy Joel Channel.
Billy's. Now for a limited time on Channel 79 in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app. Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are.
The Power Play with Steve Coulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores.
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound. Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Maple Leafs carry a 2-1 lead into the third period thanks to Mitch Marner's 18th from Bertuzzi and McCabe after Pontus Holberg had opened the scoring from Riley. And Dylan Larkin had scored for Detroit from Perron. And shots favoring Toronto 21-17. So now the boys are busy adjusting shots on goal during the intermission. They've taken one away from Detroit now.
A lot of extra work. Talking to some of the off-ice officials on taking away some of the assists last night.
Yeah.
The Leafs ended up with 3 unassisted goals.
It wasn't very nice of them. Played down into the Toronto end. The Leafs defend the goal to our right as it is deflected into the Detroit zone. Reimer waiting patiently. Almost gave the puck away there as it was slow to get into the trapezoidal area. And now the Leafs with it, turn it over, and now in over the line comes David Perron with a shot. And that is swallowed up, and then McCabe gives Perron a couple of whacks on the way by. I think he may have taken a bit of a little liberty there with the stick on McCabe on the way by.
I think McCabe might have been fortunate not to pick up a cross-checking penalty here. David Perron, by the way, I think is somebody that would appreciate what McCabe is doing.
How about last night when Matthews got cross-checked in the corner and the official told the bench that he fell down?
Burn the tapes.
Yes.
David Perron had a 6-game suspension for coming to the aid of Dylan Larkin.
Goss Despair with a point shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Centering pass doesn't work. Now it comes back to the blue line. Sider will send it down into the corner. Tried to go to the front of the net as it comes to the left wing side. Goss Despair in. Tried to one-hand it in front. The Leafs knock it down. And Samsonov got bowled over. Now he's back up on his skate. Seems to be all right. As Riley sends it into the corner, and Domi trying to play it around on the far side. Will get there, but not fast enough for Marner to keep it in. Wings back down into the Toronto zone. Played around the boards by Morgan Riley. Launched high to center ice by Bertuzzi, and he'll head to the bench as the Leafs get a change started. Justin Hall, the former Leaf, sending it down into the zone. Now brought out by Connor Timmins. Quickly ahead on the left wing for Simon Benoit. A pass goes high and off a stick and has reached the netting over on the far side. Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner both with 4 shots on goal over the first 2 periods of the hockey game.
Well, at this one, from the 2016 draft class, obviously Austin Matthews leads the way in goals scored. But tied for second is Alex DeBrincat, who coming into this game is tied with Matthew Tkachuk and Patrick Laine for the second most goals behind Matthews from the draft in 2016.
And DeBrincat leads the Wings in scoring with 17 goals and 22 assists.
And Dylan Larkin did miss 6 games with the injury, so they lose Larkin for 6 games, and Perron went after Matthew Joseph. Ended up with a 6-game suspension for it. That's why the league may not like you, but your teammates certainly do.
Face off to the right of Reimer. Draw one by Toronto's Tavares. McCabe can't shoot it at the net. Sends it down into the corner. Bertuzzi couldn't do anything with it. Red Wings have launched it high and down into the Leaf end. Liljegren will get there first. Finds McCabe. McCabe back of the goal. Ran into traffic. Liljegren unable to help him out. Red Wings into the slot, and a shot is blocked there by Nick Robertson, and it caroms all the way down into the Red Wing zone. Sider turning up on the right side, chipped in over the line by Lucas Raymond. Puck goes around back of the Toronto goal. It'll be spun to the blue line, but not out. And now it rolls to the line, not out again. Leafs still having difficulties with it. Back on the boards then for Noah Gregor. He makes a nice play to take out the player and then allows him to carry the puck down into the Red Wing zone. Gregor with speed going around back of the net. Looks to make it back to the point. Morgan Riley had his stick explode. Played in over the line now for Daniel Sprong. He's in on goal and scores. Ilya Samsonov went for the poke check. And it was ill-advised, but the problem was Morgan Riley's stick explodes on a point shot, and he is in no position to do anything as the Wings tie the game.
That comes early here in the 3rd period. The tying goal, and as you mentioned, I mean, and Riley, it was just kind of sweep it more towards the net. It wasn't big wind-up that snapped the stick, but as soon as Riley tried to play it, the stick snaps, and everybody gets caught going the wrong way.
Daniel Sprong with his 11th goal of the season.
It's his 4th goal, 9th point in the last 11 games.
Benoit down into the corner. Pontus Holberg spun it off on the far side. It comes back to Nylander. Nylander back at the blue line. Works to the right wing side. Sends it to the net. Glove save made by Reimer to stop play and bring a face-off in the Detroit end.
Sprong coming down the right wing side, and as you described it, Ilya Samsonov went for the Johnny Bower and committed a little too early, because Sprong was able to sort of drag it around him. Yeah, Sprong looked up, saw Ilya Samsonov kind of telegraph the poke check. And for the second time in this game, the Red Wings have tied it.
Played to the Toronto zone, and an icing call here against Detroit will bring it back. So the Leafs trying not to have another lead evaporate on them. They're up 3-1 on the Islanders. and 3 goals, including an overtime winner, ended that game. They were up 3-0 on Colorado last night. Bouncing puck goes out of play in the Leaf end.
5 times this season, the Leafs have blown multi-goal leads and ended up in the loss column. All of last year, they did it just 4 times. So that is something that obviously needs to be rectified. And now, the other side of it, we've seen the Leafs come back in games from multi-goal deficits, including the game against the Red Wings in Sweden. Leafs were down 2-0 into the 3rd period. Came back and won that, but Detroit trying to return the favor here.
Played around the boards into the near corner. Leafs get it ahead to Bertuzzi. His backhand pass got across the line. Marner sends it down into the corner. Now a centering pass by Domi was intercepted, and the Wings come to center. Good play made at the defense there by Benoit. He'll regroup the puck, and Timmins gets it ahead. Bertuzzi slides in on the right side, dropping for Domi. Looked to find Marner. That was knocked off his stick, and the Red Wings get it out at center ice. Joe Veleno trying to play it back into his own zone. Up on the right wing now for Olli Määttä. Määttä backhands deep into Toronto territory. Liljegren couldn't catch up to it. Lucas Raymond in the far corner. Got it back for Larkin. Larkin sends a shot well wide of the goal around to the near side. Big collision there between Jake McCabe and Seider, who took the brunt of it. Back to the point it comes. Gostisbehere with a bullet that went wide. They get it back to the blue line again. Raymond working into the corner, trying to get a return pass, but it's intercepted by Toronto and quickly brought by Nick Robertson to center. Robertson lifting it into the left wing corner. Yarncrook was in after it. Following up on the play is Tavares, centering in front. Oh, and a great chance by Robertson. Thwarted there by goaltender James Reimer. Centering pass by Tavares, and Robertson got it away in a hurry. But Reimer came across nicely. In over the line, knocked down there was Nyes on a pretty good hit by Jeff Petrie. Played into the Toronto end. A pass by Samsonov was intercepted and sent to the net. He had to scramble back to get a piece of that. Red Wings back of the goal. Comfer working back with it. Works to the point, drops it off. Shot coming from Sherratt. Big rebound in front of the goal. It bounces back towards the blue line. Kept in, and a drive is blocked in front of the net. Breaking the stick of Morgan Rielly again. He's trying to get to the bench to get another cue, and the Maple Leafs fortunately have the puck out at center and now shoot it in.
It's twice in the first 5 minutes of this period. Not sure what the league record is.
Well, you got the stick manufacturers and probably the salespeople standing by.
Be a lot of people pretty happy about this.
Lead pass for Nylander. He's in over the line, shooting, and he snapped it over top of Reimer's cage. Nylander in the corner, coming out, trying to stuff it in front of the goal. Reimer spread out, and the puck goes around to the back, and Andrew Kopp will get it out into the center ice area. McCabe back into the Detroit zone. Chips it back at the net. In goes Matthews after it. Can't come up with it. Michael Rasmussen starts away for Detroit. He'll get to the Leaf line and just send it in. Simon Benoit starts back the other way. Bit of a collision there, but Benoit carries on. Knocked it down into the corner. Couldn't get to it. Leafs into the forecheck now as the puck goes back of the net. Kopp is there to play it out. And it is Seider into the rush. Dropping it back for Daniel Sprong. A shot. And Samsonov got in front of that. At the point, the pass intercepted. The Leafs looking for a breakaway feed. And they had Marner in behind everyone, but couldn't find him. Now it's Marner with it in across the line. Stops up. Still with it. Marner holding on. The Magician gets it into the corner. Played around back of the net for Bertuzzi, and that didn't work. He made a couple of spinning moves with edge work there that had the crowd hooting and hollering. Bouncing puck comes in front of the Detroit goal. A 2-2 tie here in the third. Leafs back at center. Bertuzzi circles back in his own zone. The Leafs are changing. Up on the left wing for Riley. Riley sends it down into the corner. Played into the boards area. Grabbed off by Yarncrook. Yarncrook can get back in front with a shot that went wide. Crowd back into it here as Tavares curls out of the corner. Took a shot, blocked, rebound in front of the net. Yarncrook can't deliver. Tavares with a loose puck back towards the blue line. Trying to poke it in. Does. Into the slot area it comes to Riley. Left wing side, chip to the side of the net. Yarncrook eludes one, gets it back to Riley. Centering pass in front, off a skate, and the Red Wings are away at center. David Perron in on the wing. Perron going wide. Holds up, played it in front of the net. It's intercepted, and Robertson will get it out at center. Nick Robertson, look out. He got leveled there by David Perron. And then McCabe steps into Perron on the way to the bench. Back come the Red Wings. They get it down into the far corner. Tying it up in there. Puck comes free. Holberg got it ahead. And Matthews with a long lead pass looking for Nylander. That goes around back of the net. Nylander interfered with there by Ben Sherratt. No call. Kept in at the blue line by the Leafs, and a shot goes off the glass. Far corner. Played around back of the net for Nylander. Nylander trying to chip it into the corner. Tries to elude Sherratt. Sherratt has him up against the boards, but Willie doing a good job with his skates. The puck comes back to the blue line. Leafs are able to keep it in momentarily, but it bounces out at center ice. Matthews turns back up ice. In across the line to Willie. Nylander with a backhand that was blocked before it reached the front of the net. And the Red Wings have iced the puck as it'll come back. Sprong from DeBrincat is the scoring play. It ties this game at 2.
So it's a 40th point on the season for DeBrincat. But he has not scored in his last 7. That's 3 assists in his last 7.
It's all right. I got the paper for you, Mr. Ralph.
Yeah.
Some of your paperwork just going askew there.
It's actually the tape that's on the thing here that keeps sticking.
Shot to the side of the goal. Reimer couldn't get to it, and a centering pass goes right by him all the way down the ice.
I think Bertuzzi was trying to bang it in off Reimer's head.
Well, he certainly centered with a lot of velocity. I know that. Puck back out in neutral ice. Brody has it knocked away, but by doing that, he knocked the stick out of the Red Wing player's hand, so that pretty much negated the rush. As Sprong was sprung, but without a stick. You like that?
That's not bad.
That was not bad. I was working on that for quite a while. I haven't been able to get it done.
It'd be better if it was in the spring.
Oh, yes. Here's a chance now for Nyes, who shoots it over top of the net. Bouncing puck into the slot, and a wrist shot into the glove of Reimer off the turnover in front. Noah Gregor getting it away. It is a 2-2 tie and a pretty entertaining third period to boot. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The end of an era in New England.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
That will be someone other than Bill Belichick along the sidelines.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
This is the single greatest run in the history of professional sports. It will never be duplicated.
And expert analysis on NFL radio.
24 years of sustained success. It was just magical.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM in the car and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
That you can get better by getting worse. Bye-bye Laine. Bye-bye Pierre-Luc Dubois. Bye-bye Blake Wheeler. They might have gone from a club to a team. The Jets are better without those guys, maybe, than they've ever been in Atlanta or Winnipeg with Bufflin and Trouba and everybody else.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
the top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
The Leafs 2 and the Detroit Red Wings 2. 9:15 remaining in the third period. Game that started 52 minutes late.
Yeah.
Because of travel situation with the Red Wings.
I find this amazing. And it goes to show you the careers that guys can have now. Since coming into the league in 2010-11, James Reimer, this is his 489th game. That's the 13th most. 13th.
Centering pass, and Reimer had to make a save there. It goes out of play.
Yeah, 12 years, and it's the 13th most, so.
Yeah. He's had, I mean, if not a spectacular career, he's had a very steady career.
Yeah.
That's exactly the word I was going to use.
And you start thinking, you almost forget that he played in San Jose, or you almost forget that he played in Florida, Carolina. There's a lot of goalies. I know we play that puzzle every morning, that Puckdoku or Hockey Reference has the Immaculate Grid. James Reimer has become a pretty valuable guy.
Yeah.
Guys that crossed up with a number of teams.
Draw won by the Red Wings. Played around the boards. Riley was unable to keep it in, but the Leafs have it back in the defensive zone. Brody off a stick and into Detroit territory. Reimer leaves it there. Wings get it up on the wing. Larkin bounces it through center. Lucas Raymond gets in over the line. Works to the far boards. Ran into a traffic jam, and the Leafs start out. Matthews to center. Right wing side to Willie. Back to Matthews. Pass in front of the net. And unable to get a stick on it was Pottis. Holberg, a wraparound play. Off the goal post by Matthews. Or did Reimer get across?
I think he may have got the right toe on the attempt by Matthews.
Nylander in, stops up on the near boards and shot it well wide of the goal. Then Holberg couldn't come up with the puck on the far wing, and the Wings are back in over the line with Sprong, sending a shot off a stick that went wide. Played around the boards to the far side. Comfort keeping it in. Wings get it again. Back to the point for Hall, looking for a deflection in front, but none coming as it went wide. Brought back by the Maple Leaf captain, and then he loses an edge and falls. Wings chip it down into the Leaf end. Timmins getting there first. Round the board, spun by Benoit, and it's out into neutral ice. Justin Hall going back. Hall will come to center and shoot it in. Down the boards, played into the corner. A bouncing puck goes free to Tavares. Tavares starts out being hounded from behind and had the puck turned over. Played right back down into the Leaf end. Timmins in against the boards. Freed it up there for Benoit. Benoit playing it up on the wing, but Yarncrook had the defenseman step by him. Timmins in the near corner. Trying to work up the boards. Double teamed over there. Timmins trying to free it up. Now we got a real crowd in there now. This could go on for a bit. No, now it does come free. Centering effort by Fisher. That was blocked. It comes back to the blue line. Red Wings keeping it in. Sider. Bank pass to the far corner. Goes around back of the net. Christian Fisher gets it back for Sider, but he can't keep it in. Slides down into Detroit territory. Both teams trying to get a change going. Shot back into the Toronto end with 6:34 to go. Third period. Tied at 2s. The Leafs are a team that is no stranger to overtime. That is for sure. 16 times they've been forced to extra time or shootout.
They're a lot better earlier on, weren't they? They've had a tough time in extra time of late.
Leafs with it in their own zone. Brody finds Bertuzzi, left wing. In across the line, dropping for Riley. And Marner Riley was hoping for a redirect, and Marner just missed it. And Reimer was able to snare it with the left hand. 5:56 to go, third period. Leafs 2, Red Wings 2. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
On the far corner, rings the boards. Morgan Riley had to do a duck to get out of the way of that. High attempted play by Brody. Now the Leafs in their own zone. Brody with it in the far corner. Get it up on the wing for Marner. Marner couldn't penetrate. Red Wings counter. They bring it back in. Curling with it is Andrew Kopp. Played it down round back of the net. Fabry trying to come out with it. Did. It comes back to the point. Red Wings hold. Send it well wide of the goal. Chopped up on the wing. And then unable to make contact with it initially was Marner, but he stole it back. Now he's through center. Weaves in over the line. Dropping it back. Weak shot taken there, blocked. But it is Domi getting it back to the point, and a shot goes off a stick as Benoit let it go from the right side. Or at least Timmins let it go from the right side, and it's up into the screen. 4:14 to play in regulation. Game is tied 2-2. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
AMD1.
Radio Andy.
Hey, this is Andy Cohen, host of Andy Cohen Live on Radio Andy, here to tell you about the brand new SiriusXM app. Check out my new personal page on the fully redesigned app to see all the places you can hear me, keep up with all the latest episodes, and more. Just search Andy Cohen in the app to find me, then keep exploring to add all your SiriusXM favorites and new discoveries to your library.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
His playmaking this season has been taken to another level. I know that this 11.25 that David Pasternak's making is going to look very cheap. It already does probably this season, but as this cap rises, he's going to be an underpaid player for the years to come. That's how good he is.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. On and off the ice.
Brandon Hagel, he got paid $52 million from the Tampa Bay Lightning. 9 guys on this Lightning team who are currently playing under either 7 or 8 year contracts. I mean, you can't just keep handing these things out. As much as people applaud Tampa for doing these deals, I think we're a year and a half away from just shaking our heads over all of this stuff.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
It's Radio Network.
Face off to the left of James Reimer in the Detroit zone. Leafs have outshot the Red Wings 27-21. 6 shots for the Maple Leafs in this period. And 4 shots for the Red Wings in this period. But they have the only goal sprung from DeBrincat that has tied the game at 2.
There aren't a lot of huge games in January played in the National Hockey League, but look at the Leafs come into this game 3 points up in the Red Wings. They have a couple of games at hand. But because Red Wings and Leafs have been going in opposite directions of late, Leafs don't want to be flirting with wild card spot or being on the outside of the playoffs looking in.
Draw scrummed. Red Wings flip it out. This is sliding the length of the ice, and
TJ Brody.
I love how TJ Brody might have hurt himself there.
Yeah. But I think he was going faster than he wanted to, because that was we've seen a number of icing calls called off. I think that might have been a pretty good candidate for another one.
Face off again to the right of Reimer. Draw one by Detroit. Sherratt sends it out and down the ice, and another icing.
Leafs 60% in the face-off dot tonight. John Tavares has only taken 7 draws, but has won 5 of them.
Matthews will take this face-off. And he wins it cleanly. Riley sends the puck to the net and was high over top of the goal. Backhanded down into the corner. Larkin trying to get it ahead, and David Perron got it out, but the Leafs bring it right back in again. Shot taken there by Holberg was deflected by Reimer wide, then another shot by Riley off the blocker of Reimer. Red Wings get it out. Leafs trying to punch it back, gobbled up by Larkin. Larkin across the line, trying to flip it into the far area. Back of the net goes Lucas Raymond to play it into the near corner. No one there. And the Maple Leafs are there now to carry out at center. Nylander in across the line. Weaves to the right wing side, and a shot went wide of the net. The rebound comes out on the near boards. Brought forward by Comper. In over the line into the slot. And the shot was deflected by the Maple Leafs wide of the goal. McCabe takes a look up ice. Saw Tavares, who gets it at center. The captain sends it back down deep into Detroit territory with under 3 minutes to play in the third. Amari Sider working to his defense partner. Wings get it to the blue line and chip it in. Liljegren's going to try the other side, but it's out of the reach of Yarncrook. Now back at center comes Detroit. JT Comper dropping it back to Brinkett with a shot. The rebound, a save made by Samsonov. That was deflected, and he had to sprawl out and makes a 10-beller right there. 2:12 to play. That might have saved a point right there. Red Wings back at center. And the crowd is chanting Ilya Samsonov. You know what? That first cheer, we thought you wondered whether they were with them or maybe riding them. And I think that answers it there, does it not? Now here's a centering pass. The Red Wings score! A loose puck in front of the net, and Andrew Kopp finds the back of the goal with 1:40 to go.
Timothy Liljegren has control of the puck in the corner and throws it behind the net to nobody. And seconds later, it's funneled out front, and the shot from the point, or from the high slot, beats Samsonov, so that moment of elation for the Leafs and their goaltender is short-lived. And Samsonov gets beat blocker side, but so Timothy Liljegren, I don't know if he's trying to chip it to Jake McCabe and misses him, but has the puck on his stick and just rolls it in behind his own net onto a Red Wing stick, funneled out in front, and it's 3-2 Red Wings.
And Samsonov got into a bit of a traffic situation. He was looking over his right shoulder when the puck went over his left shoulder and into the net. So now, the Leafs in need of a tying goal. They'll carry to center and flip it in. And there goes Samsonov to the bench. 6 attackers on the ice for Toronto. Played out and down the ice. It is going to go not enough for icing. Samsonov was still on the ice. Now he is starting to look out towards the bench, and there he goes. Here's Nylander in with a shot. It comes to the side of the goal. Reimer's going to pounce on it, and the Maple Leafs are going to get a face-off in the offensive zone. DeBrincat gets his second assist of the game. Or check that. No, that was a Sprong goal. I'm sorry, they have not put up the assist on the Kopp goal. His 8th of the season, and a timeout coming here for Toronto.
But again, they talked about it in the game against the New York Islanders. They've got to cut down on gift wrapping opportunities to the opposition. And the Leafs really have been in full control here in the third period, haven't they? They get Red Wings score the goal early, but it had the feeling the Leafs coming, and Timothy Liljegren with a horrid giveaway in behind his own net. And like I said, the baffling part is not knowing what he was trying to do. Whether he thought Jake McCabe was there for a little D-to-D touch to get it out. But an unforced error is the difference, and you can throw into the broken stick. By Morgan Riley on a fan shot. The stick breaks. Breakaway goal by the Red Wings. And yet again, I'm sure unless the Leafs and the big boys can do something here in the last 103, I think the top guys, Joe, are going to be called into question again.
Face on to the left in the Detroit zone. Tavares wins the face-off. Nylander punches it into the corner. It came in front of the net. And now it is shot out and down the ice, and Nylander will skate back to produce an icing. And it'll be brought back into the Detroit end. He had to get on his horse there because he was being pressured by Lucas Raymond. Draw to the right in the Detroit zone. Tavares taking the draw against Dylan Larkin and wins it. Back to the blue line to Nylander. Near side for Morgan Riley. Down low to Marner. Doesn't center. Works it back to Riley. Riley to Nylander. Holding. Let the shot go. Blocked. And it's punched out into the center ice area. And the bench in the far side clapping the sticks on the side. 34 seconds left to go. Nylander to center. Left wing side, Matthews into the slot. Back for a shot. Glove save made by Reimer. And he's going to hold on with 26.6 seconds remaining in the third period. Wings leading 3-2. Rasmussen gets the lone assist on the top goal.
For the Leafs, it was a 2-goal lead against the Islanders that disappeared, a 3-goal lead against Colorado that disappeared last night, and now a pair of 1-goal leads are gone here tonight.
Wings win the faceoff. It is bunted out at center. An empty net try will soften away. Lucas Raymond fires it into the empty net. And while the Detroit Lions are leading in their game with the Los Angeles Rams, the Detroit Red Wings are going to win one here in Toronto. to close to within a point of the Maple Leafs in the standings.
And when you've got that Western Canada trip coming up, by the time the Leafs play at home next, I mean, they could find themselves outside a playoff spot if they're not able to turn it around. You thought when they went to California, wins against LA, Anaheim, and then back-to-back wins against San Jose, that they might have turned a corner, but the Leafs' inability to win on home ice, Joe, is just absolutely baffling.
They are now 10, 9, and 2. And time will run out. Our Molson 3 stars tonight, Mr. Ralph.
Well, let's go Andrew Kopp, star number 1 for the Red Wings. We'll throw Mitch Marner, star number 2, and James Reimer stops 29 out of 31 shots. The former Leaf goaltender will get the nod for star number 3.
All right, we are back with you when this Western road trip starts, and that is in Edmonton on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock start. We hope that you will join Jim and I as the Leafs embark on a Western Canada road trip. The Detroit Red Wings beat the Maple Leafs 4-2, and reason for concern, blown leads is a huge, huge issue for this hockey team. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Breaking news here. You know who's retiring? Nick Saban. My goodness.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
With Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
With Brad Treliving, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How would you describe your season?
We've been able to put some points in the bank here, knowing that we're capable of playing much better. You know, that's sort of our focus right now is trying to get a little more consistent in our game and getting our team up to a little higher level of play.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Radio Network. Maple Leafs drop back-to-back games here at Scotiabank Arena. This one,
another blown lead.
4-2 to the Red Wings. 3 straight blown lead losses for the Maple Leafs, 2 at home and in regulation.
Okay, so on the negative side of things, disaster weekend overall. Coughing up 2 leads,
goodness.
getting 0 points from the weekend. But if we're going positive, and I know you like going positive.
I love positivity.
The Toronto Maple Leafs played a competitive hockey game with Ilya Samsonov in net tonight. That's progress, at least in one area, despite losing ground in other areas.
There was a very nice moment in the end of the third period there when Ilya Samsonov made a beautiful game-saving save where he reached across with his glove and, the whole arena, Sammy, and just as they were finishing their Sammy chants, fortunately, the Detroit Red Wings did put one in the net, and then they got the empty netter, of course. It was a nice moment. I honestly I was rooting for the guy, right? So a tough way to go out. I can't pin it on him, but a loss is another loss for these Maple Leafs, and a big one against a team that's right behind them now.
You're right. He won the fans back for a brief second, and then within a moment, the third one goes in for the Red Wings, and that's all she wrote, really.
It is all she wrote. A long day waiting for this game. Red Wings spent most of the day in the airport, and they still ended up with a win here at Scotiabank Arena. Let's take a look one last time at the out-of-town scoreboard. The NHL scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
Just one other game today, and it's long been final. The Rangers got a 2-1 win at Madison Square Garden over the Washington Capitals.
Yep. Can't wait to tune in to our 2 favorite guys, JD Bunkus and Sam McKee, with Leafs Talk next. Thanks for listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Blowing leads. And this one back-to-back, third period blown leads.
Yeah, what time do they get to the arena tonight? 10 to 6?
Yeah.
They're stuck in an airport. They're coming back from vacation here. They're in a nightmare trip. They're stuck in the airport. They can't get off the ground. There's, how long does this game get postponed? Almost an hour. There's questions if the game's even going to get played tonight. Like it's a precarious situation. And then the Leafs have every excuse in the world to just, beat up on a team that's coming in quiet. You see the reaction on the bench after they win that game. And it's just, again, they blow a lead, a no-show from their stars. And it's another loss. Regulation. No loser points all weekend. The standings are getting a little more grim as we go along here, bud.
Well, not to be too dad jokey, but somehow the Leafs showed up later than the Red Wings. Like all day, these guys are rotting in an airport. The Leafs get 3 power plays to start the game. 3. And I think between the 3 power plays to start the game, they got 1 high danger opportunity. I think they ended up with 3 shots combined on those power plays. Just completely lifeless performance in the first period. Now, to their credit, right? Let me give the credit, because God knows that most of the fan base is probably just going to be calling for Sheldon Keefe's head, and there's going to be a lot of looking the other way on all the guys who make the 13 percenters. The 13 percenters are. How are they to be blamed? They played yesterday, for God's sakes. And, it's hard on those guys. It's really hard on those guys. This is all Sheldon Keefe's fault. So they clamped down, I thought, in front of Samsonov in the second period. And I think Detroit finished the first with 10 shots, maybe 10 shots. And then the rest of the way until Liljegren turnover at the end of the game, where just a breakdown, Detroit finds a way, puts it in the back of the net right after a beautiful Samsonov save. Toronto really did play, I thought, like a well-checked, tight hockey game, a little bit more defensively responsible. But yeah, it's hard to overlook the start, dude. Like, you had a chance to just bury these guys. You had an opportunity to just put them to sleep. Just put the Red Wings to sleep, and you came out even flatter. And that's to me kind of the story of the game.
Yeah, they were brutal in the first period. I don't know why that's the way they looked. They just, going back to I don't know how many years ago it was that Sheldon Keefe said soft and purposeless, but that's how they played the first period. It's just there was nothing there. And like we've laid out here, that team's flying in. 10 minutes before this game, and there's just no excuse to not put 3 in the net. You got James Reimer in there. What was the number that Simmer said on the broadcast? Was it 17 in his last 3 starts? What was the number that I don't even know what it was. It was crazy, the number that he said. And you can't find a way to get one past him. The power play looks horrible. Keefe is changing up all these lines to try and light a fire under them. It doesn't work for the first period. This, to me, is a game where a team that's undermanned, where they had every excuse to quit, just kept building in belief because the game was close. And then they took kind of, towards the end of the game, they get a lucky break and they score. This game should have been 4-0 after the first period, and they just couldn't find a way to get one past Reimer.
Dude, look at Detroit's reaction on the bench to end the game.
I mean, it cared. They cared. It mattered so much. They obviously had a really crappy day leading up to today.
Yep.
It's clear that they were very, very, very excited. And like all their goals, the celebrations, like Larkins, when he scored that first goal, the celebration by him, it's like, whoa, like what's going on here? And then you see him on the bench. It's like, they had a bad day. These guys had a bad day, and they were extremely happy to win, and the Leafs should be embarrassed they lost. That's what it comes down
to. This is one everyone can relate to.
Yeah.
Like, how many things on planet Earth are more draining than when you're waiting for a flight to take off? You're completely powerless, and you've got nothing other than an uncomfortable seat and staring at your phone. And then going up and looking and trying to see if the monitor is going to tell you something different.
Please.
Like it is draining. It's a horrible feeling to be stuck in an airport.
That's why all the media members tweet about it when it happens. It's like, I got time to tweet. Air Canada.
Yeah.
You did it, Air Canada. You did it again.
You did it again. Yeah. The poor journos and the flights. It's a hard life. It's a hard life for the boys. I'm kind of at a loss on this show, dude. I don't even know what to say. Like there's a nice performance by Samsonov mixed in there. I love that the crowd gave him a Bronx. What?
Nice. Like, yeah, 2 good saves. And he had what was he ended up with 22 saves. Like, they hit him in the chest for the rest of the night. He made 2 really nice saves, which is good. It's definitely progress, but I'm not going to go as far as to say nice. Like it's not the reason they lost, but it's.
I think it was nice, all things considered. If you would have told me Samsonov was going to face 23 shots or 26 shots, I would have been like, yeah, they gave up 6. He gave up 6 goals the way that he had been playing. It was a controversial start, and it didn't backfire on them. And I will say that those 2 saves were really nice. Those are 2 really, really nice saves. And for him to just kind of come in there and battle and look competent, I thought is a really nice step forward for him in order to find his game. Like that save's brilliant.
Progress.
What? Yeah, progress. I think that's what you're looking for. I'm not going to try to say that anything has changed with Samsonov. Like the very next game that you're going to, what happened when they faced Nashville? They put him in, he gets a shutout, and then the very next game, it goes into the tank. So credit to the Leafs for playing a tight game in front of him, knowing who was in net, and not letting him get shelled. Credit to Samsonov for playing some competent hockey and making a couple of big saves, not allowing a stinker of a goal, right? Like you'd agree. None of the 3 goals against him were awful.
Third one, he's sliding the wrong way or whatever, but I mean, it's not terrible.
It's a bad turnover behind their own net where they get caught watching, and it's a nice play.
Absolutely. But he's.
But I thought it was hilarious that the crowd gave him the Bronx cheer, and then I thought it was even funnier that I tweeted about it.
Was a Bronx cheer?
Yes, I can't believe this take from people being like, it's a supportive cheer.
I did. I actually.
No.
The tone of it to me.
No.
Was a little bit more supportive than a normal Bronx cheer. Like it was to me, it was. I'm with whoever you think is dumb. I didn't think it was bad.
Hey, I'm not trying to be too hyperbolic.
Yeah.
I think whoever thinks that Bronx cheer is a fun cheer supporting is actually the dumbest people on planet Earth and know nothing about sports. So congrats for you revealing yourself. The idea that you think that the crowd was going after he made a chest save. Hey, way to go. You did it. Like, in any reality,
they're trying to support the guy. They know
that's crazy. The Sammy chant was kind of funny too later in the game because he made the great save, and they tried to get it going. But most of the crowd was like, "Yeah, we're not doing this. Like we're we'll give him a little. That's all right. But we're not going over the top here. This isn't Rocky, you know? He made one good save. Like, to your point, the game by him wasn't brilliant. It was an awesome save. He deserves some love for it, but I was glad that it didn't get way too over the top. And then, of course, it ends up in the back of their net immediately after, which I thought was just perfect.
So I sent a snarky tweet before we started, and boy, it's getting a lot of people mad. But William Nylander in his 3 non-Sharks games since the $92 million extension, 0 points and a -1.
I'd like to get paid after Sharks games.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody would like to get paid after Sharks games.
Stars have been bad in big games here for a couple of, Marner has his 600th point tonight, and it was a really good play by Bertuzzi to put it on his stick or whatever, so he gets a point. Matthews, a couple down ones here from him in a row. Didn't think he wasn't very good against who they played last night, Avalanche, was -3. Didn't think he was particularly good again here tonight. Just shows you what this team is, right? Stars aren't going, they don't win. And I thought, I give credit to Keefe for trying to do the super blow up of the lines and try different stuff, but it's pretty clear what this is. And it's like, we've been talking about this for however many years now. When these guys go into ruts, it's the team goes in a rut. So not pretty from the Stars again, buddy.
No, and it's getting late early here. We're halfway through the season now.
For sure. No question.
We're halfway through the season, and it's feeling pretty same old Maple Leafs, right? Like, what makes you feel really different about this team right now? This is just it. This the Stars that everyone loves to praise with just, full. It's full praise all the time when they're playing well. And then when things go poorly, it's Sheldon Keefe's fault, or it's the goaltender's fault, or it's the blue line's not good enough for these guys, or it's a million different excuses. But I'm with you. Like, this stretch to me has been really, really lackluster, these 3 games from those 4, I will say 4 guys, because I think Riley has actually been mostly fine.
Matthews scored twice against the Isles. So I'm not going to give him too much of a problem for that one.
I thought he turned it up in the third period tonight, but it's like, okay, awesome. He had a couple good shifts late in the third. Is that is that the bar for a superstar of that caliber?
So I mentioned Marner get his 600th point. I want to give credit to our boy Nick Richard for an excellent tweet tonight. He says, hometown boy becomes the fastest to reach 600 points in Leafs franchise history after being nominated for the Selke the year prior. Surely he is beloved in Toronto. It's good.
It is weird.
It's true. No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's weird. This element of it is that it's weird that he's so much less popular than the other 2.
For sure. He is. He has his fans, his diehard fans who are like a sect of Leafs Nation, and it's crazy that it's just like we've painted ourselves into these corners. But it is crazy. He's the fastest to 600 points in Leafs history, and everybody whines about him all the time, myself included. It's it's an eye-opening stat. That's a huge number. 600 already.
Yep.
Care to say anything good? Care to say anything good, buddy?
I don't have good things to say right now. It's so funny too. Sometimes we'll get criticized for the show where someone will go, "It's just a game." That's my least favorite criticism, right? Is they'll go, "It's just one game," and this is what this show is. It's breaking down game by game. So sometimes when we have to do the larger picture credit time, and especially in moments like this where they lost to a Detroit team that was begging to lose. The Leafs played last night. They should have showed up with their hair on fire after that embarrassment. Their head coach went to the media and said that the other team's stars were brilliant and above the NHL caliber, and that those guys weren't going. He called William Nylander out by name and said he had to put him up on the top line because he was going so poorly. He basically did the episode we did of Leafs Talk, but at a podium.
I think he went into the coach's room and watched Leafs Talk and then went out and did his thing. He's like, God, those idiots are making good points. I gotta go.
Those 2 handsome sons of a guns are making a lot of great points. And then they came out tonight, and you thought, yo, they broke up the lines.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to come out.
Hair on fire.
I thought this was going to be William Nylander from the beginning of the season, Nylander tonight, for sure.
Yep.
Like, dude, you signed that contract. Everybody's making the jokes, the nervous jokes, by the way. It's like, you say it and you go, hey, Nylander got that big man. Please score a goal. Like, please score a goal. And it was a nothing affair, really. And again, they're playing a little too tight defensively because of who's in net, and they're all getting used to new lines. But I sure didn't feel any type of real passion from the Leafs. I didn't feel like these were a bunch of guys that were embarrassed about what happened the night before and we're not going to stand to lose tonight. And that's the common theme with these guys is it never feels like they hate losing.
Yep. Bang on. Just went on while you were talking there, went to my other window and searched Keefe into x.com or Twitter, whatever you want to call it.com.
I'm sure it's just fire Keefe all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
I
listen, they can fire him. I don't. Yeah. His seat is definitely getting hotter. And I wouldn't even mind it if they did it to him because I've never really been a huge Sheldon Keefe defender. But what I will say is it is kind of funny that he calls them out in the media. He says what everybody's thinking, and then he blends the lines the way that everybody wants him to do it.
Yep.
And then the players come out and they drop the ball. And it's everybody on X, Twitter, whatever, saying fire the coach. Just and you wonder why these guys don't play with any fire or passion, right? It's like, well, did we do bad? Did we play bad? Like, no, it's the coach's fault. You guys don't worry about it. It's just Sheldon Keefe's fault. He made you guys play on different lines with different players. How could you ever be expected to perform under these horrific circumstances? Let's get rid of them. Let's bring in somebody else. And again, the question is, who is the somebody else?
It's Berube.
Who's the person that people want to bring in here?
It's Berube.
Berube?
To me, it's Berube. It's like the guy, the total change-up guy, comes in here, comes in here, lights the room on fire kind of guy. That's it. And I'm not saying do it, but I'm just saying it's a popular take tonight. And it's been getting warmer here, and they're losing games against teams that are supposed to be in there sort of like, what are the Red Wings? 1 point back of them now? The Red Wings are not great. The Leafs are just like heading towards Midsville big time here. So either they are
heading
Midsville,
towards.
Not heading towards, have arrived at the station in Grand Central Midsville here. Like they are there.
It's the middle of the season and the middling team is in the middle. Like that's what they do.
Either you think they're mid or you don't think they're mid. And you make a decision about the coaching and everything else because of that. So, like, are we sure are you like looking at this team right now? Are you sure you want to like trade all the little assets they have to improve this team? Like, is this team it? I don't know.
No.
It's a big question for me.
I think that I've maintained this position all along.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real 2020 feel to this team to me. Where you push it all the way to the deadline and then you see where you're at. Yeah, you're not making a big move ahead of time, and you're going to kind of see if this team can show you something. And have they had some adversity in net? Sure. Do they have a blue line that had a bunch of injuries? Yep. And it actually kind of proved out to be a decent thing in the long run because it showed up a lot of their depth, and some of Tree Living's better moves happened to be getting some of those depth players.
Mm-hmm.
Have they had ideal performances from the Bertuzzis? Again, pretty play tonight. I thought he came out with a bunch of juice and then faded as the game went on. Has Tavares looked old lately, by the way? Like, quite. Tavares looks like, they used to say he hit the rookie wall, and Tavares has hit some kind of wall. Go look at his point production in the last 20 games. It ain't pretty. It really isn't.
Here's what I'll say about Tavares. And I'm just looking at his game log here. Sam Mitchell, since the San Jose game, didn't get a cookie in that. He's got 2 points. Yeah, it's not pretty. It's really not pretty. -2 tonight, -2 against Colorado, -1 against New York. I think he does kind of go into these throughout the year where he goes through dips. But the thing I've noticed over the years, the dips get longer and darker. That's what it is, right? As he gets older, where it's like when the production's not there, the dips really, really show. So he's going through a tough one tonight. What did he even play tonight? Felt like he was not out there a lot. And that part of what they did with the line change, I'm just looking at his time on ice tonight.
it was pretty noteworthy that he got bumped down to what the third line was.
17:41 tonight for him. Like with plus the power play time, which they were out there. They had 3 power plays. Like that is third line duty plus power play. He basically was the third line tonight. And they put him with Robertson and Yarncroc. And I guess I thought Robertson had a bit of pop tonight. Thought he looked better than he has in games past, which is nice. Maybe they can trick somebody into taking him for something. But yeah, it's not pretty right now, buddy. It's not pretty. And they're heading out on a road trip where they're playing lots of the best teams in the league. They're playing Edmonton. Tuesday has won 10 hockey games in a row. Going to Calgary, then they're playing against the Vancouver Canucks, then the Seattle Kraken, then double down on the Jets. But it's be looking at it out of a playoff spot here pretty quick. So,
yeah.
And at some point, you have to figure out what the move is to make, because I think there's way too much expectation, way too much money, way too much everything tied into this situation. And you have to decide what the move you're going to make is. And that's what it comes down to. This next week is a very important one for the coach. Let's say that.
Yeah, sure. I don't mind it. I really, me,
buddy, I'm not a Dumbo.
No, I'm with you. No, but
it is clearly flaws with the team.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying that smart people are criticizing the coach to me now.
For sure.
Like former players, like, me, some of the guys in my, texting circles.
By the way, nice call on Samsonov there, JD Wojnarowski. Called it.
That's right.
Way to go there.
Okay? In the biz. But educated people who are far more educated than myself have been really hypercritical of Keefe to me recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying he's completely absolved of any critiques here. And I think that at this point, if the team does dip out of a playoff spot, you can't fire the players, and Lord knows they wouldn't anyways, because they were like, oh, Nylander, you had half a good season? Like, here's everything. Sure, no move clause. You got it. All the way through, you got it, baby. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about a damn thing. All the money up front, you got it. Whatever you want. It's not going to happen for any players. I don't think that they're going to make some drastic trade, and I don't think that they're going to make one that's going to try to markedly improve the roster. You got one move to make, and that's fire the coach. So I don't mind it if they do it. The problems I'm seeing right now don't look like a bunch of guys who aren't motivated by the coach. And I don't think that the issues that some of these players have are, their coach isn't getting the most out of them. Like, it's too hard of a sell. Anyways, rapid fire time. Morgan Rielly finally gets his first penalty.
And we didn't even do it.
Yep. Correct.
He was innocent.
Yeah, he is innocent. So it's and the weirdest streak I actually kind of cared about, because normally a streak like that, I would be, I don't know. I guess maybe I just like Morgan Rielly so much, because normally I would think, wow, you don't have a penalty. It's January soft, And with Morgan Rielly, I was genuinely impressed by the streak, and I felt bad for him that William Nylander robbed him of his streak
with a lazy behind the back penalty where he just quit skating and hooked the guy. Anyways, yeah, good on Rielly for keeping it going, and he's innocent. They should switch that. Can they do that? Can they review it?
No.
Put under protest. Be the Gibby. Draw the P.
Yeah. Really nice save by Simon Benoit in this game.
Awesome.
That was just a heady play, and I swear, if I had to bet my life on a guy to bat a puck out of the defensive zone, this is something that he does. Like, he's got good hand-eye, man, for a big man that came in here and we called, Benny the Butcher. He sees it, good hand-eye coordination there. That's a really nice play. That's a calm play. That's a good play.
No panic. And then he rushed the puck up the ice after this. He was buzzing. He was buzzing after it. He was going up the ice. I love this guy. Love him.
Me too.
He's a guy cares. He's just, that's where we're at here. It's like we watch these 4 guys who make all this money play quiet and soft through these games. And I'm an uncle. I'm like, oh my God. Like the guy who makes $750 and cares. What a treat. Like,
what a delight.
It's sad.
I did think that with Holberg though, because that's actually a non-rapid fire topic I had is he was awesome tonight. And I love it. This is always the mark of a guy who played well to me, is when you think his ice time is more than it is. And with Holberg, it was tonight? Yeah, he didn't play too much, but you really felt his presence. And one theory I had for you is, they're talking about it during the broadcast about how, hey, this dude got told by the coach at the beginning of the year that he was disappointed in his play, and he thought that he was expecting a little bit more coming into training camp, and they didn't bring him up. And it seems to have lit a fire under him. He's not just a perimeter player. This Pontus Holberg actually looks a little bit more physical, a little bit more engaged than the guy that we saw during his last stint in Toronto. And you and I at one point were very big Pontus believers, really big Pontus fans, but that did tend to fade away. I think the challenge for Holberg this time around is going to be, hey, can you maintain this? Is this who you are, or is this just who you are for the first couple of weeks when you get the promotion? And then once things get settled, you start to turn into a guy that is less noticeable. But a really good performance for him. So good on Pontus Holberg.
Yeah, he, you got beat out by a 19-year-old in I call it spring training, in training camp. You probably should have a fire lit under you. You should probably be pretty upset about Fraser Minton beating you.
Agree.
So, yeah.
Any other rapid fire topics for you?
My parents were at the game tonight. And feel bad for them. The guy they missed. They had to watch that loss. They were delayed an hour. They're getting old. Can't have that. It's almost 11 o'clock. They're not home yet. They're getting a little old for that. So they'll be so pissed when they hear this. But yeah.
I was gonna say this is not the message that they want.
Tough L for Marianne and Andy. Sorry, guys. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow, so we're going out for breakfast. But yeah, tough one there, guys. Sorry.
Well, according to you, since they're so old and so tired, they were probably kind of sneaky happy that it wasn't overtime.
I'll get the breakdown from them about if that cheer was a happy one or a mad one. I'll get an AMAC steak.
Happy cheer. Happy Bronx cheer for the first time in sports to the goalie that everybody didn't believe in. Yeah. No, good take by you guys, Internet.
They're a supportive crowd.
Anyways, you know what that is? That's literally, there was probably one person there that did that. It's like, it's The Simpsons. I was saying Boo Hearns. Like that's, that's you in this situation, Mole Man. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe on the podcast, Spotify and Apple. Follow at JD Bunkus, at Sam A. McKee, Twitter and on Instagram. And we will see you Tuesday night.
For getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 minute truck, 2 minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks. So give us a call today.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herwin. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Acquiring for Philly to trade, so that's going to bring back plenty. And Drysdale's coming off a shoulder surgery. He got hurt early in the year, some kind of lower body deal, but they get a second round pick, but as well. But the real chip for Philly is Drysdale. And aside from this deal too, the next part of it is they've got a couple of free agent defensemen in Philadelphia in Sean Walker and Nick Seeler. And certainly that would give them runway to move one of those guys or both if they want to, because you've got Drysdale in now. And pretty interesting though, like a kid just saying, nope, not for me. And that pushes the envelope to a point where they got to do something.
John Tortorella was asked post-game last night about this trade, and not unusual for Torts to display a level of disdain. And, it's not personal with Cutter Gauthier not wanting to sign or stay in Philadelphia, or it really shouldn't be. I mean, they've used him as an asset or a commodity to bring a real good piece in Jamie Drysdale back. But here was the response from John Tortorella after the game in being questioned on Cutter Gauthier.
Then we don't want you.
I believe you've met Cutter Gauthier before. Were you surprised that he...
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall, So, and I'm not too interested in talking about him. I'd rather talk about Jamie. He's the guy that's coming here.
Isn't that vintage Torts right there, right?
It is, and the fact of the matter is the players in the Flyers room don't know Cutter Gauthier. They, quite frankly, they don't care about him and his wants or doesn't want, I guess, in this case, because they're worried about their team. They're worried about how soon can Drysdale get here? When can he get in the lineup?
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, January the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Washington Capitals. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 939, Capitals on Internet 950. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs face the Detroit Red Wings. Maple Leafs on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 947, Red Wings on Internet 930. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Sunday, January the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Washington Capitals. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 939, Capitals on Internet 950. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs face the Detroit Red Wings. Maple Leafs on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 947, Red Wings on Internet 930. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Sunday, January the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Washington Capitals. Rangers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 939, Capitals on Internet 950. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs face the Detroit Red Wings. Maple Leafs on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 9.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
On Channel 157.
Starting in mid-December, the Carolina Hurricanes finally shook off a subpar start to the season and are looking like the Eastern Conference contenders most hockey people think they are. Third-year forward Jack Drury joins Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin on the morning skate on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 91, and he says it's simply a matter of the team recommitting itself to playing the way it's capable of playing in order to win.
As I'd mentioned, Jack, the team has started to really come around and take shape here the past couple of weeks. What has been the biggest key towards you guys finding that consistency that clearly has made you one of the top teams in the league once again?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of committing to playing the right way. We got a system that we know works for us, and we just got to kind of stick to it and get everyone buying in. I think last little stretch here, we've seen that, and we know we have the talent to kind of be successful if we do that.
Being a new player to league, we saw what happened with Connor Bedard on Friday. Is it something, the speed of the game and all that, a big part of your adjustment? I don't know if you've had a comparable hit so far, kind of welcome to the NHL style?
Yeah, my first playoff shift last year, I got blown up by one of the Islanders' D-men, so that was probably one of the harder hits I've received. But, I don't know. I think hockey's fast. Everyone's used to it. Sometimes there's just some unlucky plays, and I think that can happen to whether you're a rookie or been in the league for 10 years. It can happen to anyone.
Hey, look, you spent some time in Chicago, and now it looks like you become a full-time National Hockey Leaguer, and you played for the Wolves and such, and, you look at the American Hockey League, too, and many have said over the years that that's probably the closest thing to an NHL-type environment that you can get with the organization that Wendell Young does run. Give us a sense over the course of a couple of years to play with the Chicago Wolves and what you think that meant to your development and maturity in your game.
Yeah, it helped a ton. I think, the full season I spent there, we went on to win a Calder Cup, which was really special. We had a special group. Wendell was great as general manager. The organization was great. And Ryan Warsofsky, who's now with San Jose, was our head coach. So that was just a really, really special team. And then, spent about half of last year there. Again, couldn't say better things about being there. It certainly helped my development a lot.
So, winning the Calder Cup, always a big one. It's like the journey to win a Stanley Cup. When you talk about coaches, Rod Brind'Amour just seems to be a very unique guy that connects with his players on a certain level. What's the experience like having Rod Brind'Amour as your coach?
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I think, you get in a room with him and the respect everyone in the room has for him is just automatic, given what he's done with his career, and you see his work ethic still today. It's as higher than anyone on the team. So that makes it easy to respect him a lot. And obviously he's got a wealth of knowledge from his incredible career. So he makes it easy to play for him. The passion he brings, the focus he brings, it's pretty cool. And, watching him as a younger kid play and then getting to play under him it's a special experience.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, January the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Washington Capitals. Rangers on SiriusXM channels 91, Internet 939, Capitals on Internet 950. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs face the Detroit Red Wings. Maple Leafs on SiriusXM channels 91, Internet 947, Red Wings on Internet 930. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Sunday, January the 14th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Washington Capitals. Rangers on SiriusXM channels 91, Internet 939, Capitals on Internet 950. 7 p.m., Toronto Maple Leafs face the Detroit Red Wings. Maple Leafs on SiriusXM channels 91, Internet 947, Red Wings on Internet